Saddle up. Okay. Right on. Let's stop this here. Let me say welcome, Heru, to all of the Genesis family out there. It's a privilege for me to be here. I know I'm very late, and what can I say? I was told to make a formal apology, right, for being late. Yeah, so boy, life is that's how it goes sometimes, but there's no excuse. I do apologise for being well late. So I know management doesn't like people being late, especially for the talk show. It's definitely true. It's correct. And so I've had my knuckles wrapped. So definitely, people. Well, actually, every show on Genesis is important. People, the DJs do a sterling work down here, and so we want to just know that everyone's important. And nobody should be really late at any point, any time, because you have you hanging around. And so I've make an apology for being late, So how about that? I'll have be punished later on, I know, but thank you. So how you doing, folks? How are you doing? How's things out there? How's everything been? It's been wonderful for a good week, a fairly good week, and I know that. Probably different for yourselves, but we've got to keep on, and we've got to make sure that we're in a position to handle things, handle life's events, because life will have a lot of events, and nothing is promised to us, and we don't want to think there's a bed of roses going on here, and things do not fall from the sky. Manna doesn't fall from heaven, and so we want to be together on this, and we want to comfort each other. You're in tune to Genesis Radio and the People's Talk Show, and I hope everything's all right where you're at, your neck of the woods. This neck of the woods seems to be okay, and again, as I said, we're all in it together. We're all in this thing together, and we're going to get through together. And you know what time of day it is, and you know the rules that we would like to have, especially on a Sunday when we've got family listening. We want to be respectful. Obviously, you can be passionate as much as you like, but don't start a war. Although some people may think that's good for publicity, but I don't know. Everything is everything, of course. So I want to say, be cordial to each other. The numbers, I'll give out the numbers. Try and give it out regularly. Sometimes we don't do that. Numbers are 07931 27 62 and 32, and I repeat 07931 27 62 and 32. We'll bring you into the studios, and you can also text in on that number if you have anything to say. I like to I don't know, maybe sometimes topic wise it's restrictive, maybe I want to be a bit free. I've got a guest coming in later on, so topic I don't know. I think in continuation from what's been going on in the news, it's interesting, isn't it? And I always say that the news reflects some of the situations that we have here in our neighbourhood, and things are going on, things are lightening up. We had a earthquake in London, in England. Not the first time, but they're getting more heavier and heavier. Things are changing, weather patterns are changing, whether you believe it's because of the global warming or whether you think it's just a conspiracy, there's no such thing, or whatever you think. Things will happen without our help. And it may happen behind our backs without our control, but that's the way life is. We're not going to have everything under control. I mean, we try to control life, and it comes up different and at all times. And so what we can say of life is that the less gullible you are is the much more better that you will learn. And I think that we as a nation are a lot of gullible people, you know what I mean? And people are easily influenced. And so the general topic is about the gullibility of the people. How gullible are you really? You really are. And are we gullible? And why are people easily manipulated in the way they are? And these manipulators, they sit down and plan these things. And I want you to know, just because you can't see somebody sitting there and planning something, doesn't mean that they're not doing it. See, and this is the thing. But those who plan to deceive people, they just do what they do that as for a living, because they will sit there and plan the deception of somebody or something, some organization, some peoples, and because they know that they cannot be seen and what's going on behind closed door and who we are really representing in the community and where we are in terms of morals within the community. How do you think morality counts? Should we be vagabond and rogue like everybody else? And we have one vast mess of ungodliness, chaos. Is that where we're heading for? I don't know. Is that what people want? Can you get order from chaos? Does it mean that we have to have chaos first before we have any order? Those who like to have chaos and just whose intention is to mesmerize the community, you know what I mean? And then create a chaos in order for them to manipulate the people. I think that there are people like that. There are personalities like that are out to cause chaos in the community and are very good at it. You know what I mean? So you decide as a people where you think things are at this moment. If you can see, if you're able to see chaos or see the people, the doomsday preachers and the doom and gloom people who just don't have any morals. Some people think that less moral you are, the better you are. I don't understand. This is the thing I don't understand. The less moral you are, the more better it is. And if we're talking about our children being influenced, and if we realize that our children are easily influenced, then doesn't it behove us that we got to be careful in the way we present things? I mean, if our children see us as rogues and vagabonds, and you know what I mean, and because everybody wants to get through life, and people use different means and methods to get through life. How do you want your children to be? Should we all just forget about morals and become rogues and vagabonds, become all sorts of things, become gender fluid? So if that is the case, if you believe that to be immoral is the way forward, and then you shouldn't be worried about gender fluidity then. You shouldn't be worried about homosexuality then. You shouldn't be worried about your children being taught same-sex marriage in the schools. If you believe then that people ought to be promiscuous, and you believe in chaos, and you believe in dark side of things, because some folks are really on the dark side of things, you know that. They're here, they've come back through time to prove that they can get through life in the darkness, in lying, in deceiving. And they think that's the way forward. They would even say to you, not only individuals, but companies. I remember when I used to work for a company, a security company, and we were going for the badge thing, the SIA badge, and we're taking the exam. And whilst in the exam, this is what made me kind of surprised, really, because whilst we were in the exam, well, before that, I knew that certain people have to pass the exam in order for the people who were holding the exam to get paid. They had to have a certain amount of people passing the exam. And so with that in mind, I was there sitting down and I was pondering on the questions, and all of a sudden the brother who was facilitating the exams came over, and see, I was on question 4. He came over and he sort of pointed his finger. I thought I said, eh? Brother was pointing the finger to the answer. And so everyone, he went around pointing his fingers on the answer to the question, and so we all passed. Whether there was any whether we were moral about the thing, where we feel, well, we're not going to be, we didn't bust our brains, or we didn't, do our homework, but we was told how to what were the correct questions, because they weren't thinking about whether we're able. And this is what I find with society today. They don't deal with morals. And if you seem to be moral, you seem to be weak and impotent, or you seem to be some do-gooder. Is that where we are today? And I thought about that, and I thought, hang on a minute. So, and then the same brother come to us and say, listen, when you're filling up an application form, you should lie. And I thought, pardon? We should lie our way through. And as I said last week, when in my first experience with We had Trevor Hercules here, and we were talking about when our first experience in the courthouses and stuff like that, where you thought, well, at least we thought that the more honest you are, is the more that we get through in life. But that doesn't seem to be the way, isn't it? And this is where we are. We have been brought up to believe that the more honest you are, it's the better for you. Honesty is the best policy, and we find. I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong. I still believe in that because I now know other things. Now know that honesty is indeed the best policy, although you're told to lie. You see, when you're making an application form for a job, you must lie. And I thought, do you know the difference between lying and telling the truth? It's very fluid. You see what I'm saying to you? So with this fluidity that I'm looking at, and my experience in these things now leaves me to wonder, what am I going to tell my children? So really, you can't really blame the generation before, because it seems like the generation before, immediately after me, right, we have been blamed for the way that they turned out. You see, and they look at us and think, they're calling people waste man, and that generation is a horrible generation as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen so much depravity and ungodliness coming from generation. The generation immediately after us, or even their generation after them, they ain't got no scruples. This is what I'm noticing. You think I could have talked to my father disrespectively? You know what I mean? Even though, if you look at it, and I could call him a waste man if I wanted to, but we ain't gonna do that. So where did that come from? We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna turn around and call him. I've never called my father a waste man. My dad didn't give me loads of money and made sure I had the latest shoes and all that. I understood my father couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? He had to go work. You see what I'm saying? And he had to go slave his way through society. My mum had to do the same. And so I wasn't like privileged a child, I couldn't get anything like because there's a lot of us. I mean, I wouldn't turn around and say to my mum, well, you shouldn't have so much bloody kids then, should you? You know what I mean? I would never, ever disrespect my parents like that. But you got some young folks today, they don't have any respect at all for their parents. And that's what we was talking about with Trevor Hercules on their show. How much respect, where did that come from? Where did that kind of attitude come from, where people are beating their parents up now, slapping them up, and their mothers are afraid of some little, little boy who thinks his tackle is too big for him. He think he can, and worse, even worse than that, even becoming the mum's boyfriend. There's things like that going on in society. Have society gone backwards? Are we, because of the because we've lost sight and there's no rules anymore? We're bringing up children that don't give a damn about rules. Their attitude is, get it and get it now. Instant gratification is what they're on about now. And we have to ask the question, where has this spirit come from? Where parents are fearing their children now. Children are pulling guns out at parents. You know what I mean? Them people there. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's going to happen to them too, because their children are going to do the same thing to them as well. Where do you proportion blame then? If there's going to be any blame to be had, where would you put the blame? Would you put it at the parents' feet of the parents? Would you put it at the feet of the child? Or would you put it at the feet of society? You're live on Genesis.
Yeah, hello. Heru, quick interjection.
Yeah.
Just listening to your preamble and some of the questions you're asking your audience. Your audience. Mm-hmm. I think you said, I don't know, forgive me if it's not word verbatim, but I think you said that you wouldn't have called your dad a waste man.
No, I wouldn't. Definitely not. I wouldn't disrespect my parents at all. No way.
Right. Would it be too personal to ask you whether your dad was in the house with you when you was a kid,
Yeah,
a
man,
child.
he's always there, man. He used to do night work. He used to work for the post office, and we couldn't run on, couldn't make much noise because he was sleeping. So he's always there. There's never a time when my father wasn't there. You know.
Right, so I'll put it to you then. At the time when your mum and dad came together and solidified that unity and became one, of one flesh, and decided to raise a family, they had some sort of moral ethics and respect to the positions they play within the home and society. They may not have known the intricacies of how the society works, but within their own personal society, the home, there was a respect of roles that were played and a culture, family dynamic, pecking order, if you want to use those terms. And I don't know it personally of anybody that's threatening their mums and stuff, but I suppose when we were growing up, we'd hear kids say things, and it was usually white kids to their parents. It's a bit like the old Russell Peters joke, when he's got this great joke when Russell Peters is a Canadian Asian comedian, probably the best one I've heard. Anyway, it's pretty good, regardless of whether he's Asian or not. But he does he reflects on his growing up, and he talks about when he knew the kid Ryan, and how Ryan would get this and get that, and Ryan would just lip up his parents and thing, and then Ryan give him some advice, and he'd say, "Listen, just tell your dad this, and then you get child protection services and that." And so Russell Peters said, "Oh," so he'd go over and he'd start mouth his father, and his father's like, "What? What is that?" And he's like, "Yeah, and you can't do nothing, Dad. We'll get the child protection services." And the dad said, "Oh, okay then. Then you're just going to have to get child protection services. But by the time you call child protection services, they were getting there too late."
Yeah.
I'm going to deal with you in this thing. So he was talking about how it never worked for him. Now, father was in the house, and there was obviously a culture that had been handed down, a pattern handed down about how you raise your children. But your parents came together before, I would argue, you can correct me, before the 19th century feminist free love came about. Free love was something that was being pushed, as well as the vote. I don't want to talk about that. I mean, this whole feminism is a real big deception. But at the time, it was free love, right? We all know that. Women don't want no responsibility. They want to sleep with who they want to sleep with.
Hold on. But before you go any further, you're making some sweeping statements there that I have to clear up. I mean, what has feminism got to do with family? I mean, what we're talking about. I'm telling you. So, prior to the 19th century, because it was twin pillars, white middle class women wanted to vote before the nation, let's take it from an American perspective, before the African American had any suffrage. They turned out and said, "I didn't care. The daughters of Jefferson and blah, blah, blah will get their vote before any N-word." And that's coming from your Susan B. Anthony's, Latimer, Pelton, loads of them. All the queens of feminism had their say, and you can find the quotes. But running with that was the free love. And you also know they had the temperance movement. In America, especially during the 19th century, the Wild West and so forth. Well, you're living in a harsh country, you're coming from the East after the Civil War, you go over to these boom town, mining towns and so forth, and one of the currencies, it was prostitution is one, and liquor. They've always had this affiliation with liquor. But every man knew, and everybody knows, a man who's laden with liquor, when he come home to the wife, that's subpar love what he make. So you got a lot of frustrated women out there who are fed up, obviously don't understand why they're there in the first place and what people are trying to carve out, and harshness of the conditions of mining and all of it,
where a man might want to get sozzled on a Friday night, okay? But, you know, as it with women, so long as they're satisfied and that, and if they're not, they band together and say, well, band a drink. That's why we ain't getting any pleasure at home. Anyway, so we're talking about the family. When free love became Burn the Bra, the liberation of the 60s, you then got a new dynamic of family. The nuclear family had now been undermined, and if you read the Communist Manifesto, you understand exactly, because most of these were communists as well, you understand exactly what the program was. And it was to destroy the Christian culture by undermining it, by targeting the female, and giving them a narrative that even to this day, rather than them check out the history, they just believe it because they want to, because it's beneficial to them. But for the wider community, when you talk about morals, sometimes the morals isn't just about what suits you, it's about what suits the wider community. You, as a man, will think so. I, as a man, will think so. History is replete with men who have sacrificed carnal pleasures in order to circumnavigate the globe, either climb up a mountain, serve in the army, serve in the navy, whatever it is, to secure the room for safety. And once they have done it, what do men do? They make the vacuum cleaner. That's to make the wife work at home easier. There's a very romantic story about the guy who made the washing machine. Again, you know, you bring these facts to these lefty feminists, and they hate it. They hate you for it. All of a sudden, you're talking the truth. I can't stand you, and they just reveal their.
Reese. Let me interject here. So far, you haven't tied up your point with this feminist, and we're talking about how children being delinquent and attitude change. You're trying to pin it down to feminism. That's why that is. Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, I'm giving you basic pointers. I'm bringing you to the point where the philosophy comes from.
What philosophy?
Whereby in the Communist Manifesto it says they want an army of single mothers. If you read it good enough, that's what, because they know single mothers raising children, they can't raise daughters. And people think, oh, it's just the sons they can't raise on their own. They can't raise a family.
Who can't raise a
family? Not a functioning family, a moral family.
Who can't raise a family, bruv? Who can't raise a family?
A single woman on her own.
A single man can raise a family?
Sorry?
Can a single man raise a family?
Yes, no. A single man can raise a family. Well, yes, a single woman can raise a family.
So
the structure of the family, where you have two parents, male and female. As you know, they're teaching children in the school that you can't say mum and dad anymore. Hold
on. You're not getting away with that, mate. No, because you're not. You're muddying the waters here, bruv. You just told me that a woman can't raise a single woman can't raise a one-parent woman. Single woman can't raise a family, but a single man can. That's what you said.
I did, and what did I say after that?
Well, no, I'm just trying to argue that point, bruv. How do you get that? How do you get that?
Anybody listening would hear when I roll back.
What?
On what I'd said, that you only heard that part, but you didn't hear the roll back part.
Well,
so I made it quite clear, right? And then I went on to talk about the structure of the family, whereby
no. You're moving too fast, bruv. No, so you're moving too fast, bruv, because you haven't explained how you come by that conclusion. Where you said, right, that a single woman can't raise a family, but a single man can.
Yes, I did say that.
Yeah, you haven't shown me, you haven't given me proof, you haven't told me how'd you come to that conclusion, bro.
I also said something else, which you seem to not hear.
This is about something else. I'm talking about that particular thing, bruv. You raised something, and I need for you to clarify this.
The point is, I misspoke and corrected it.
No, you did a mistake then, is it?
I just told you that.
No, I never heard that. I never heard his mistake. I didn't hear you say, I never heard you said, you've made a mistake, bruv. People want to hear that. I didn't have to say make a mistake.
I rolled back on it pretty much immediately and explained. But you just want to hear one point to argue and quarrel over one point rather than hear the big picture.
Yeah, well, we expect when you make statements, bruv. This is a talk. Hang on, let's cool down, relax, bruv. You know, don't get all irate here, bruv. When you make cool. You know, we've got time. Just cool now. I said, when you are making these sweeping statements like that, people need clarification. They might not hear how you conveniently roll over it. You see what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Let me go with where you are then. Let me go where you are and walk you through it, because you need it, right?
Yeah, well, you want to make sense of what you're talking about, bruv.
Okay. It's fine by me.
Cool.
Fine by me. Let's just say what I said was wrong, and let's look at the evidence, shall we? How about that?
Well, hang on. No.
Oh, we don't want to know the evidence then?
No, that don't make sense to me.
So
don't pull the wool over people's eye here. I'm not going to allow you to do no intellectual aerobics here, bruv.
Oh, come on, God. Here you go. We're intellect.
Hear what I'm saying to you.
Let's just listen to one another. You ask a question and I'll explain.
You're not making any sense, bruv.
What?
You're not making any sense. Are you apologising for your statement? Are you apologising? Are you saying... Oh, so are you saying that you've made a mistake? You shouldn't have said what you just said. That's what I want to clarify. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying I made a mistake. No, I'm saying I made a mistake. No.
Eh? You haven't made a mistake.
I know exactly what I was saying.
Oh, how?
I understand sensitive ears, and I know people get emotional about what they hear, and they jump in before they hear the whole story and understand the context in what I'm speaking about.
You're the one that made the statement, bruv. Nobody else has made it. You can't just make a statement and correct your own bloody self, bruv. It's down for us. You've made a statement. You've made a statement, right, that needs clarifying. I heard you said that, right, that a man...
You don't need to repeat it.
Yo, easy, you're not running away, bruv. You're not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. You're going to stay here and you're going to make your statement clear to the people. Don't want to come with no verbal barrage. Let's go to it, right? Because you're not escaping, bruv. Right? You said...
I'm not denying what I said.
Allow me to say
repeat it.
Well, listen what I'm saying to you. Right? Listen, no. Let me do it, bruv.
Oh, no.
Let me do it, bruv. Let me do it. I'm the one listening. I'm the one that caught it didn't make sense to me. And people are listening too. You said that a single woman can't bring up a family. And I ask you, can a single man bring up a family? You said yes. And you now you're saying you're not going to relent on that. You knew what you were saying, and you're in agreement with that, are you?
The problem with you is, when you hear something that you think, I got him, your brain switches off. So you don't hear what I say next. You don't hear what I said before, prior, or after. You just hear something that you want to quarrel about, and then the big point that I'm trying to make gets lost in translation or lost in the mist because you've got a opinion upon it.
No, but you should say it in the first place. If you can't explain...
My match is going to start soon. I'm not running away for anything.
Yeah, right. If you can't verify what you said, well, don't say it, bruv. Don't tell me that I'm getting stuck. You don't say things you can't. Don't say things that you cannot verify, bruv. And if you think you said it and it's wrong, even now you're not even saying that. You're not even saying it now that you've made that that statement was a wrong statement to make. Can you say that? Are you saying that statement is a wrong statement for you to make? Let the people hear.
I'm not saying it's a wrong statement for me to make.
It's a wrong statement, yeah?
I said I am not saying it's a wrong statement to make.
Oh, so that's what. So when I'm questioning you on it, don't try to put me off, because you're saying you believe it. That's the case. So that's why I'm questioning you. You can't give me no verbal barrage about what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. You're now making a statement that you believe, and you don't know, because you believe that a woman can't bring up a family, but a single woman can't bring up a family, but a single man can. I want to know how you come to that conclusion, bruv.
I think the history shows us. I think our current events show us. The statement was not every woman can't. It's obviously a generalization of the bigger picture. And I led you into why and how it's come about. I was going to proceed with just evidence-based, not my opinion. Just evidence-based. There's books, there's countless, if you care to read. Unfortunately, because it's an emotive subject, And people, some guys only like to pad up the girl because they want to drop the knickers down. They don't really care about correcting them.
And that could be you as well.
I don't want to hear anybody that says that sounds like you're criticizing all women. And you're praising all men.
But you could be one of them.
You're a misogynist.
But you could be one of them.
And all the rest of it.
But you could be one of those want to get in their knickers too, ain't you? It could include you. You could be one of those that want to get into their... We've got to be careful because we know children are listening. So we've got to be careful of our time. But you could be one of those misogynists, couldn't you?
Pardon?
You could be one of those misogynists. You could be the one that you're talking about. You could be one of those, bruv.
Well, let's just stick with what we know. And rather than presupposing what you think I might be and what I think... That's the problem. I don't know why people get so emotive over hearing something unfamiliar. And rather than you say, well, what is the grounds for X, Y, and Z? Once the proposition has been, or the proposition has been put to you, then you can ask questions, but you don't. You hear something you think you're not going to like, and before you hear me say full stop, you jump in.
Well, listen.
So it's like it's like watching a movie and saying I don't need to watch no more because I've seen the first 5 minutes.
No, because I'm saying that we needed clarification for what you were saying. Up to now, we still haven't got it. But just carry on what you're saying because we still don't know clearer, right? So, where's the evidence that we're going to have? Where's the evidence, bruv?
Now, you asked me several questions, and I was addressing something I was actually giving you a chronology where we are, why you're lamenting
I didn't see that.
Youth threatening fathers and the parents and so forth. And I'm trying to tell you where it came from. Therefore, once we identify that there is a problem, then there's something we can do about it. Somebody who tells you there's a problem may have the solution. But if your idea of having a dialogue with somebody who is an academic is to challenge every little tittle and jot before the sentence is complete. We go nowhere. We start talking over each other. You start making all assertions.
Problem is we don't agree that is where the problem come from. You're only making your assertion that's a problem. We don't see it as a problem because you're saying right the problem came from, and I want to know where does the problem come from.
Well, you know that. I told you.
Where's it come from? Where's it come from?
I let you through it. I just told you.
What? Tell me again.
I gave you the ideology, where it comes from.
Where's it come from?
And I gave you the phenomenon when it actually kicks in the 20th century.
Well, you won't mind repeating yourself then, will you? You won't mind repeating yourself then, would you? Where's it come from?
Wow, okay. Well, look, you see...
Don't make come without verbal barrage. Ask us some question. Listen, we've got time. Listen, you've been on the air now for a while now. You keep dragging this thing out, bruv. Other people are going to want to phone in. I ask you a simple, straightforward question here. Don't go no lambasting now. Come on now, man.
Every time.
Stop this verbal barrage, bruv.
Every time I try to attempt, even though when I said what I said that you hooked onto, I rolled back on it because a general statement, which is true, is not specific to everybody. So I understood that. I made the rollback within a split second of saying it. You didn't hear it.
You got 2 minutes now. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, right, to explain where this thing come from.
Well, actually, I said it was a quick one. You made it long by jumping into what I was saying, and I'm going to watch this football. So anybody else can ring in, and they can pick this nonsense. In fact, they can look at history, and they can relate it to you. Or maybe they don't know what I'm talking about, and think what I'm talking about, which is historical facts that you can check out and read or write about, is non-existent.
Sorry.
And therefore we don't solve the situation, and you can have another show lamenting about children without parents.
Right, no, it's not lamenting. It's not lamenting.
But you were one of those because there was a structure that wasn't destroyed at the time, and I told you when it got destroyed. So if you can remember that, then you can follow it up and do your own research to find out the bigger picture, who's behind it, what the end game is, and what we can do to challenge it, because you know more than I on this, don't you?
Well, your opinions, and opinions are like arseholes.
Well, you were asking another question.
Your opinions are like arseholes.
Some of those gaps for you. All you do is keep talking over me as if.
No.
Anyway, let somebody else go in.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Gosh almighty, man. What a lot of mumbo jumbo. You're on tune to Genesis Radio. People's Talk Show numbers are 07931 27 62 and 32. And I repeat, 07931 27 62 and 32. See, when people want to have a verbal barrage, you don't know really what they're talking about. Man don't make sweeping statements like that without explaining what you mean. You're blaming, because clearly you're saying to me, you're making statements like a woman can't look after have a one-parent family, because he couldn't explain that. He had to cover himself with a lot of mumbo jumbo. He's not even saying that he relented. He changed his mind from that statement. He's saying 1 minute he said he has, and next minute he said in the same breath he said he hasn't. So it's kind of a muddying. Funny enough, this is what I'm talking about when I say gullibility, and it would lead nicely into what I had in mind. How people can mix, and we call them. And if you listen to my show during the week, we call them Setians. Like politicians. And if you listen to the spiritual aspect of my show, we're talking about a Sebekian, somebody that can deceive. Politicians are good at that, and I'm fed up of people ripping off the masses. That's where I get so defensive. They will deceive the masses. They're not educating the masses. You're live on Genesis. Hello, live on Genesis.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Mike, you're off, but sweet.
Well, Mikey, how you doing?
Not too bad, rude boy.
Bless up, man. Bless up all the time, brethren.
I tell you, some people don't really know the Genesis code.
What's that?
That Genesis talk show, it's raw, it's real, and it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah? So when you ring up, as I keep on telling them, yeah, come with your facts. Yeah, not your fiction.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's
because
right.
the presenters, them, will ask you for back up your talk.
That's right. That's correct. You know the thing.
So it's not even a matter of finishing your sentence. It's about knowing what you're going to say next. Because you're going to get paused.
You know that one.
Don't feel anybody can just ring up and come and say what they want to say. And it's going to be left as that. It's going to be challenged. That's what you're there for.
Of course. 100%.
Yeah?
Correct, Prof.
And for the guy who phoned up just a minute ago,
Yeah.
Genesis radio station is about one thing. Each one, teach one.
Yeah.
So that's why we say come with your facts.
That's right.
Yeah, we're not knocking you down because you may be wrong. You may be right.
That's right.
But you have to prove that.
That's right.
So then we can spread it.
And use it. Yeah, we can use it and we can learn from it. Right? We can learn. As you said, each one.
Exactly.
Teach one. This is why we've got a radio station.
So when a man rings up and has his argument, but hasn't sorted out his theory to the argument, he's going to get toasted. Yeah.
You know that. You know that.
Alright?
Yeah, man. Enough respect, Mikey.
Alright, then you keep it cool.
Yeah,
Sweet cheeks later.
Bless up, brethren. Bless up. Bless
Alright?
up.
Yeah,
man.
Cool.
Tune into Mikey now. Mikey, when your show is, let the people know.
Tuesdays from 5 until 7, Revival Rewind.
Yes.
Saturday afternoon mix up, 12 until 2. Soul on Sunday, 12 until 2.
Nice one.
Alright?
Bless up, man. Bless up all the way.
Keep it real, Genesis, for
yeah,
life.
Man. Oh, you mean for life? Yeah, man. For real. Thank you for that, Mikey. Mikey, cool. Nice but sweet. You're rough but sweet. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, he plays some of the best revivals that I've heard still, I'm telling you. We'll enjoy Mikey's show, So don't forget to tune in at Mikey's show and ting. But what he said is correct, though. We're not going to let you get away with nothing like that. Don't come and try to lambast us with empty rhetoric like that. You're not going to get away with it. You made some sweeping statements, bruv. And you want to pass over it, innit? You want to quickly gloss over it like, we don't hear. I heard. And that never sit pretty with me to say that, because as far as I'm concerned, a single parent, especially a woman, she's a mother. You're going to let man turn into woman now. This is what I'm saying about people. You smoke too much gear. There's too much weed. You turn into Mary Jane. I keep telling the people, why do you think they call ganja Mary Jane? I never saw it from that time. But no, but you make some assumptions that a man can look after children better than a woman. I never sleep with no man. To bring a man to make a man can look after. We don't deal with same sex marriages here, right? But the way you're talking is like say a man is It's like you're in agreement with this. The best woman is a man now. That's what they're trying to say. That the best woman is a man. So when I hear people, as Mikey say, don't come in here and thinking that if you can't back up what you said, and it's because we want to learn. It's a learning curve. We can learn from each other, Not say Heru has every knowledge. No. You know what I mean? Somebody can inform us and learn. But when you can't back up your things and expect to just come on and just lambaste us like that, it's not happening, because we are well studied. Genesis known presenters, right, are well studied people. Don't get it twisted. We're not like the other ones who just manufacture things from emotions and feelings. We don't do that down here, right? We don't pull or manufacture things from mid-air, thin air. We do our studying, at least I know we do study our things. You know what I'm saying? So we expect when you come on to station to have your say, fine. And when we ask to back it up, don't go in a verbal barrage of nonsense. You know what I mean? To cover it up, because I don't try to muddy the waters, because you're confusing us. We're not here to be confused. Don't confuse the issue and muddy the waters like that. You made a sweeping statement. And so we wanted some clarification. The numbers are 07931 27 62 and a 32, and I repeat 07931 27 62 and a 32. We'll bring it into the studios. You can text in on that number if you like, and we're just discussing about the attitudes we see today in our young folks. I've never seen that attitude, because I'm not used to that kind of attitude, so I want to know where it comes from. I heard stories about, and Caller said he didn't hear no story about children roughing up their parents. You know what I mean? It's true. It's definitely. I've read a lot of it on the social media, right? Where the mother is afraid. The boys, and if I ever have a son that does that to his mother, me and him's gonna have to roll, bruv. I'm telling you. Me and him is gonna have to roll. Cause when I see him, I'm gonna give him one left hook. I'm telling you, I don't give a damn. If I'm not there, even if I'm not there, don't do that. You know what I'm saying to you? Don't intimidate your mum to the point where you know what I mean? And it's known to have happened. Children are intimidating their parents now, pulling guns after their parents. I'm not making this up. I know families have done that. You see? And it's real in our community. And you know why I think that's real, that's happening? Because of the influence of these young folks. As I said, I was looking at Tupac, and he was only 23 when Tupac died. At 23, I was watching the Tupac story. And I look at some of Tupac's actions, and I'm thinking, but wait, this kind of reminds me of a certain individual. The way he smiles and the way he puts his attitude. And at one point, Tupac said he was only playing, and I thought, you can't muddy the waters like that. You never think. He said, but my thing is real. No, my talk was real, but I never expect people to really believe. I thought, what are you talking about? It's madness. Where does all this come from? And yet, I always say that the young folks can never explain. So we want to give the platform to a young folk to say, explain to us, where is this attitude come from? Do you think there's a good attitude? Do you think that it's the correct attitude or the correct response to the situation that you see today, or this, the way you reacting? Because 23 and you're a multi-millionaire. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good if you use your skills and your talents. But I don't know if you're going to really use your skills and talents in terms of manipulating a situation by gang type of thing. And slowly winning the way. This gang thing is taking over the family, isn't it? The family's been replaced by a gang type of affiliation because the parents can't really probably supply them with the things that they want. You know what I mean? I'm talking about when I was a child. When I was young once too, I had never been to jail. I've been in a lot of police stations and all that, but I've never been to jail. thank Ra. I'm very close to it, but I was too smart to do that, you see. Too clever, too smart to go to jail. I know people might say, well, anyone can go to jail. There's a lot of innocent people in jail as well. I can understand that. I could have gone to jail for something, for anything for a crime that I never commit. So, really, you're right. That's nothing, going to jail ain't anything really, because you never gone to jail. Just say you're lucky. You've never been, trapped by the system. I can understand that as an answer. I can take that and say, yes, you're right. A lot of innocent people are in jail. And a lot of innocent people went to the gallows back in the day. I'm glad they stopped. They've done away with the gallows, I think the last one was that little boy that shot that police in Croydon, you know what I mean? The last electric chair, them kind of thing, putting man in death row. You're live on Genesis. Greeting.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yo, Heru.
Yes, sir.
Richard.
Yes, sir.
The youth them is running mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple thing. We live in a throwaway society.
Mm-hmm.
So after your mother carry you for 9 months, yeah, when you reach age of throwaway,
Yeah.
that's how the youth them see it nowadays. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a government-caused problem.
Yes.
Because how can you discipline a child, yeah, if you raise your hand to it, the child can go and get you arrested.
Right. That's what I was
That's
talking
the government problem.
Right. That's what I wanted to find out. Yeah, man. That's what I wanted to find out.
Let me turn around and tell you something, right? Me and you might have gone the same way.
Yeah.
But since we come from a different generation, where our parents were allowed to bust our skull, yeah?
Yeah.
And anybody who knew our parents, who saw us out the road,
That's right.
either they bust our skull or they pick up or they go around your manager and say, yo, Mr. My boy, I do this enough. And your mum would say, alright, wait until we see him.
Yeah.
And you see when she buck you up,
Yeah.
I had a call this morning.
I tell him.
Yeah, and that's what the youth them don't have now. Yeah, they're using the coldness, what the parents should use on them, on the parents. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I understand, definitely. That's why I asked the question, because I want to see where people think it's coming from. It's society have laid down new rules now. We can't discipline our children like how we were disciplined because of the abuse, though. This is what I mean, because of the abuse, innit? Because they see it as abuse. They see it as abuse.
But they see it as an abuse. But sometimes, so what's jail?
Yeah, it's child abuse.
What's jail?
Yeah.
Because you know what? When they were younger, they didn't get no physical abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they come of age, they feel they can do what they want. They don't respect nothing. And then they end up in jail.
That's right.
And then reality licks them.
For real.
And that's when they wet their mum. And that's when they go up there and fire.
Yeah. I hear people are crying in jail. I hear people crying in jail. They want their mum. They're in jail there. Some of them say bad boys, and they're bawling for their parents, crying.
Exactly.
It's sad.
Yeah, so it's a government-led problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Yes.
Because if you restrict the parents, what are you going to do? You're going to get bad kids, isn't you?
Yeah, they're getting what they get now, isn't it? They restrict
exactly.
They stop us from disciplining our children, so they're getting what they get.
Exactly.
You see?
Exactly. But then the government has got that thing that they want to throw it back onto the parents.
That's right. Because they failed. They failed.
You're a bad parent.
Yeah. You're a bad parent.
Yeah. How can I be a bad parent?
Yeah. When
you set the guidelines,
yeah.
How I have to parent.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
It's a madness. This is what I want to explore because it's true. Well, I didn't want to say it myself, but I want people to come up with that conclusion and trying to find where do we lay the blame at if there's going to be any blame, we've got to lay it at somebody's feet. You can't lay it at our feet. You understand? Somebody's got
Well, no, bro.
somebody's got to take the rap, bro. For this,
Well, of course.
it's not us.
Well, of course.
And you look
I
at us.
choose to, like,
Yeah, go on.
you know, people have seen, have heard stories of parents hitting their children and going to jail.
Yes, serious.
And truth that they've heard that, they don't want that. But yet they still have no way of controlling the child because there's only a certain amount you can talk, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
I never run up in an accident.
this is what I said. Discipline, there's nothing wrong in discipline. Even slapping your child.
No.
Even slapping your child.
No, but-
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but there's discipline in all forms of life. You have to have discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have discipline and you have to know what's right from wrong.
Yeah.
And if you can't write or read, but once you know what's right and wrong,
Yeah. Some of them
You
can't.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, some of them can't write. No, that's ignorant.
but these people that some youth that can write, read, but they don't give
No.
nothing about right and wrong.
Nope.
They just do what they got to do.
That's madness. Well, I'd like for you to call up and tell us who are involved in these things, why they go this way. I mean, what they got against parents. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean,
You know what? I would love a youth to ring up and turn around and say, you know what? The reason why I am is because, like, my mum and my dad are not allowed to discipline me
wow.
the way that I need to be disciplined.
Yeah,
So that's why I rang the riot.
that's right. I'd love to, get an explanation at least.
Exactly.
For some of the behaviours. They must all right, they might wear the trousers down them backside, the trousers. Why do they do this? I don't understand it.
Well, I don't understand this. Go back from way back when, yeah? That's American and prison style. Yeah? That's when they knew the gate was open in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a madness. I'd like some explanation.
Yeah? Right, and now, their man there is walking around, going on bad man, with their trousers falling down.
True.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reality of it, when a man ready to get jerked in jail, that's how he used to walk around.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, so what needs to happen, how can you have something on one scale of the level and then want to turn it around and say, that's a Batman style?
What are they
But
doing?
people who know, man knows, ain't no Batman style rude boy. Research where it come from. Okay, you remember back in the day when you used to see the crying in the middle of their car?
See what?
You remember back in the day?
Yeah.
You used to get that like air freshener. It was a crown.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, and then they made you have the tissue boxes. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day, every single black car had one.
That's right.
Until we found out that the Ku Klux Klan was making them. Man, stop buying that.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
man.
the situation is like, the youth them need to know the style what they're adopting where it originally come from.
It's gay, isn't it?
And if they've got any, they'll realise.
But I think they must not, because they must know it's a gay thing. What are they trying to say? Because if
But how can they? How can they know gay thing when they're trying to portray it as a bad man thing?
I don't know. This is what I'm saying to you. Because if you look in the hip hop industry, because remember, there's a lot going on with the hip hop industry with bad man thing. I've saw one on the YouTube there, three burly brothers kissing up each other. When you look at them, you think we're all tattooed up. You think them people they are bad man because they look the part. Then they start kissing up, French kissing each other, bruv.
Well, yeah, but I can't see the point of, you know what? I don't see that as a bad man thing.
Well,
Because if you ever do something bad, you could put your 2 hands on your trousers, so it makes you less vulnerable.
and you can't run.
Yeah?
You can't run if you.
Or you're gonna break your neck.
Yeah, if you have to escape, I don't know. If they have to escape, how are they going to escape? They can't run.
Imagine how many times you see them run
Yeah?
down their waist, the next thing you know, they're out.
Yeah.
The boss.
They can't run, and then when the opposition come, guns in it because they have to have. That's why they have to have guns because they can't run or they can't escape like how we remember we used to run. Remember we used to be fast. Policeman couldn't catch we, bruv.
No, bro.
And nobody could catch us because we were so fast, vroom like a rocket. But I can't see them being able to run with their pants like that.
Well, no.
That's why they have to have guns because they're going to shoot their way out of trouble. You see me? I try to say.
Well, yeah.
You know, or stab their way out of trouble.
Well, yeah.
You see? It don't
All I'm saying, anybody have a child out there, remember, you're bringing it up, not the government.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so if you have a rocket neck,
Brock.
rock its neck. Yeah, because I turn around and tell you something, right?
Wow.
Eventually, it will break your neck.
Exactly.
Yeah? And when my mother was growing me, she turned around and told me, say, yo, I can bend the tree when it's young. But you see, when the tree grow, can't bend it no more.
True.
So me I bend you now.
Yes. So they understand. They understand. They can pass on to their children as well. You understand?
Exactly.
You know, attitude. The correct attitude to have. You know, I think, yeah.
Exactly.
For real.
So, I'm gonna let some youth them come in and...
Yeah, man, I hope so. Yeah, man. Enough respect, Mikey.
But I mean, they can ring up and say I'm talking rubbish.
You're right.
But that's their opinion.
That's right.
But that's the way I see it. I've had my children and grow them up. And they're big people now.
Exactly.
And they did get beaten.
And they have respect, innit? They have respect for you, innit?
And they got respect.
I love that.
And I'm watching they grow their kids up.
Yes, with discipline.
Yeah? And they're getting beaten.
Yes, I are.
Yeah? There's beating and there's abuse. Two different things. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's beating and there's abuse.
Right.
It's two different things.
Yes.
Abuse is when you do it for no reason.
Or you enjoy doing it. Or you know what I mean?
Right?
Just want
And you enjoy doing
just
it.
want to beat them. You know what I mean? No, you can't do that.
Well, exactly.
Every little thing is.
But if you do something wrong
You expect.
and you get a beating,
You know what you're getting beaten
That's not
for.
abuse.
Yeah, because you know what you're getting beat. You've done something wrong. This
Exactly.
is the exchange, innit? You done something wrong, you get punished for it. In society, it's the same thing. You go out there,
Exactly.
you steal or you stab. You know what? You go and get in it. So it's
exactly.
so
But what the government say around and say that you can't do that.
yeah, but
You
they
have to
can.
leave it until they go to jail.
But they can do that though. They can punish them, but you can't punish them.
Exactly.
It's out of order.
I mean, that's why when they go, you see how they don't take no time to back the gun and shoot them now.
Yes, I am. You see it?
Yeah?
They might kill all youths now.
Right.
We need to
Remember, whatever starts in America ends up here.
Yeah, man. They're starting already.
Right.
They started already, mate. They're wearing their trousers.
Listen, I know that.
You know?
But I'm just turning around and challenging something here, right? To the people who don't really see things. You understand me? So whatever happening in America is going to happen here.
That's
and
right.
it's happening there.
That's right. Already.
Yeah? Now look on the thing here. Let me go and prove that fact. Because I say people think common Genesis without bringing some facts.
Yeah.
Right. Now my fact one is the first ever edition I heard about acid, yeah, was about 15 years ago in Jamaica. Yeah? Then, 10 years later, the acid thing was in America. And now, the acid thing is over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Spice as well and all them things there.
Exactly. So I'm showing you some. I can back up my talk. I know where I'm talking from. I know where it stems from.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, everything that go around, come round.
That's right.
Yeah?
For real.
So that's what the youth need to realise. They need to fix up. Because you know what? We're open for for them to set a better generation. And I can't see it from this generation.
Yes. For real.
Because it's just gone mad.
Yeah. Well, we want to see.
Pick me.
Yeah, that's right. We want to see whether we can get an answer to this. Cause we need some explanation, man.
Back in mine in your day, yeah?
Yeah.
Pick me never killed pick me.
No.
Yeah? They might get a black eye.
Yeah, I might get bottled or something. Maybe even a cotta or something.
That's it.
They're not taking you out. They're not playing for keeps, mate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Why are they playing for keeps?
So this is how the thing changed.
It's a madness.
Alright, big man, I forgot.
Enough respect, Mikey. Thank you for that. Respect all the time. Yeah.
Oh.
You're in tune to Genesis Radio, and the People's Talk Show numbers are 07931 27 62 and the 32. And I repeat, 07931 07931 27 62 and the 32. And I repeat, 07931 27 62 and 32. Bring you into the studio. You're live on Genesis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, man, you're live.
You see what it is, yeah? Man, I'm just listening to some of that conversation, yeah?
Yeah.
Man's a youth, innit? As you would consider. Compared to you, though, man's a youth, yeah?
Yeah.
But you can't keep putting the blame on us like we didn't learn from our parents.
Well, it's nice that you can come on and
Isn't that right, though?
yeah, man. You can give. This is why we want you to come on and then.
Most of the things we learn that we do out here, yeah?
Yeah.
We're only following the generation above. And they're following the generation above that. And they're so on. So you can't blame us, really.
No,
and especially as no one are really coming out to say, look, this is what we really need to be doing. And especially as black people. Like, we should be getting together like, yo, there is a big problem. Not that this gay thing, it's not nothing about that. It's about we're raising our kids and we're getting raised by the government and ourselves.
Oh. So you think it's a failure? You think it's a failure on your immediate parents' side to they're not ready.
It's not even just parents. Like parents. Look, when I was little, yeah. I remember there was a you can't do certain things because your neighbour will give you a beating, and if you go tell your mum what your neighbour just done, your mum's likely to give you a beating because you was doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in a generation of the parents don't want no one to tell their kids nothing.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's.
You me? So then we end up with a lost cause because no one ain't teaching nobody. Everybody's being selfish. It's all for themselves. And it's all from TV and all of that shit. That's what teaches you that shit. The government's teaching you, be selfish, think about yourself.
Yes.
And as black people, we don't do that shit. We shouldn't be doing that shit.
You're right. So we've become
language.
No, it's a problem. So we've become selfish in our own self. I can see that still. I think I can even know when we start to become selfish because everything is just centered around ourselves for real. So how do you see the future, bruv? I mean, how do you see? I mean, like earnings and money and thing and family. How do you see the future? Do you see any future?
Well, right now, in the way stuff's headed, there ain't no future. The future is everybody becoming slaves and in debt. Unless, as people as the minority start investing our money in ourselves, taking care of ourselves.
And you ain't seen
teaching
that.
the kids to be doctors and teachers and all of that. Not to take care of themselves and their earnings. It's about the future. Where everybody right now is thinking, I want to be rich.
Yeah.
Rich in what? Money? Money ain't nothing.
True.
They already said half is wealth.
Yeah. True. So you think then the parents they're becoming like leaving their children at home, gone to work. The children don't even see them.
Stop paying more attention into your kids.
True. Well, I'm glad that my generation didn't do that. Yeah, because there's a lot of people now leaving their children at home. When they come from school, the parents you don't see the parents. The parents are gone.
But that's the thing. They got no choice.
Yeah, for real.
They have to go to work.
I Aye.
But then this is where it can change if we start helping each other.
Yeah.
Especially as black people.
For real.
Yeah?
For real, bruv. Yeah.
I gotta go. I'll say my little... But,
enough respect. Thanks for the call, brethren. Enough respect.
Yeah.
Enough respect. Call anytime. Yeah, man. Respect all the time. Bless up. Well, there's a young man ringing in and explaining his aspect, his view, and I can understand that we become selfish. And you know something? We don't even see that. You know, that must have walked past us at some point, because I do understand what the youth man is saying. When my mother was at work, we come home and I had to look after the family. You're live on Genesis.
Oh, hello, Heru. It's Bertrand.
How you doing, Bertrand?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't want to step on the black issues, but it's a good topic to talk about. Now, when I was at school, yeah, I was in a special school, but when the teachers used to shout, you would not do it again. But they wouldn't expel you from school. They would not expel. They've never expelled me. They've never suspended me. It was just like punishment, like writing 100 lines. Sometimes even when you miss your lunch, they would be lenient. There was a lot of kids that went to school. I had black friends that were very calm, nice to me. And, one person died, and still I felt sad about it. He died on dialysis. But everyone was nice to each other. But now you see schools, even non-LD or special schools, they expel each other for everything. And this is what the problem is now. The schools have lost control. The parents can't do anything because every little thing happens, social services come in. And this is what so sad is. And I live in a genre now that I'm just talking about this on a whole community thing. I'm not talking about one single community. I'm talking about all communities. I've seen pressure now where even in the school, if you try to shout at your child as a mother, what are you doing? They will take it away. They will let that to your notes. So what I'm saying is it's so hard. And now then the authorities punish the children. And what happens to them when they punish the children? You see, they come out even worse. So it's a very, very hard thing now. And I feel sorry for today's generation, the future generation. Because in the future, look, as already they put down, one man said they learned it from America. You see all this talk like, Kendrick Lamar, Didi, that's our scene now. That people aren't going to talk the English language anymore. There's not going to be no well-spoken English. It's going to be just that American accent, the worst kind of, Park, Tupac, that kind of American accent. And it's going to be just like that. They're going to dictate, the Americans going to dictate how people are going to talk. And that's what they're doing. Not the sweet American accent you don't see. It's that accent that I don't. And you're going to see everybody talk like that. Even the teachers talk like that. And then every little thing, expulsion. No special schools, no understanding, expelling. Just expelling and then right to the authorities. Social services aren't going to be able to do nothing. It's going to be authoritative state, a police state. And it's coming like that. And I don't want to speak even like that. And that's how I don't like America. That's why I don't like its policies. Even the people of America I don't like. That's how bad it is. And in schools, they get bullied. And sometimes teachers don't even notice. And the kid comes
know what happens with other parents, don't you? Some allegedly, not all of them, but some allegedly foster parents abuse. And then that person takes it out on all of them. And now who wins in this war? Who wins in this? The devil. The devil wins. The evil wins. Nobody wins. Nor the police, nor the person, nor the authorities. The devil wins. But if you're talking on this level, on the community station, which I'm going to say this again, us people from my country, they don't have a community station talk like this, because we talk about entertainment. That's it. We can't go like this, because someone has to swear at someone and it goes cunt. So us Turks can't talk like this, unfortunately. And that's why I have to ring up to the nearest common denominator, which is you lot. I try to state this on mainstream stations, but always gets wiped under the carpet. You know, and that's all I can do. I've not got no power. I only got the power to put videos up on YouTube and these shows up on YouTube. You know, and when I find the time, I spend my time doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got many, many shows of you now. And sometimes I have to spend that time to get that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing I've got. I haven't got no power anymore.
Well, thank you for putting them up, Bertrack. I'll see some of them, and I like the write up what you put up there. So thank you for that. Then. Thank you for bringing up that and putting it on YouTube. Enough respect for that, Bertrack. Still.
All right then.
Yeah, man.
I'll see.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Now you're in tune to Genesis Radio, and you know what I want to say is this. That one sec, folks. Is that I don't think the youth's got a problem with black and white issues here. You know what I mean? I don't see them as having that problem. You know what I mean? The black and white issues are never what I see out there, and yet I believe there is like a section of the community, so-called what they call some of these little liberation groups that want to make black and white an issue. And I don't think the youths them will buy that. You know what I mean? Because what they don't see as an issue, they've got. You're live on Genesis.
Yeah, just quickly, can you check your texts, please?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that now. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me read out texts. Okay, one sec. Come here. Well, you see that they get here, bro. Okay, I'm gonna read out some texts. Text sender. Let me see. Okay. Okay, right. Yeah, they're saying that the phone's a bit too loud and giving you a headache. Yeah, I've turned it down. Hope it's a bit better. And it's also saying that you guys need to come better and fix the problems or spend the money so there is no issues every week. It's something going on. Well, you hear that, technicians? They're saying that the phone calls are so loud, it's giving them headaches. I hope it's better now, still, you know, because I've seen that myself. I realise that, and I've turned it down. Let me turn it on a little bit more. Yeah, that's quite cool. So I thank you for that, text sender 753, for pointing that out. We'll definitely get on the case and see whether we can sort that out. Text sender 242 says, Reese and all black people should have compulsory talking therapy. Why do you say all black people should have therapy? I don't know if oh dear. Well, I can understand that. That's not too wrong. So, okay, it says, text sender says, sort out the phone line. It's hissing. Yep, you got a lot of work to do, engineers. Listening is Reese says, listening is an important component of learning. Whereas jumping in emotionally prior to the completion of an emotive statement is the height of ignorance. Yeah, but you also, when you're making your statements, mate, you should realize that people are going to act, innit? When you say something, you don't just throw it into the mix like that and don't ask people to react. You might, if you know something is emotional, and people are going to be emotional about it. There's nothing wrong with that. Text sender says, would you accept that change is generational from low to high and vice versa if seems like a cycle? We transcend or reincarnate. I might be a later text still. Right, so there you have it. So when you're making your statements, right, don't just come on and expect, right, Reese, that you're not gonna have an emotive response if the issue is emotive. Therefore, you should realize yourself that you could be careful what you say. If you want people not to respond to you in the wrong way, then you should put your things better. You can't just come on an emotional tread like that and no one's going to respond emotionally. That means you haven't got a clue what you're doing, you see. And people should learn also how to put their point across. I think you, Reese, need to go and learn how to put your point across. You can't just come and just bam out like that and don't give a damn. And then you go all leery when somebody responds in the way that the question draws out a leeriness out of them. And that's how it is. And that's how it is. So you can't really blame the people for responding in the way they respond because you led them that way. You see? And from you lead them that way, then you expect to get a response like that. And so it works always. So as I was saying, I don't see the youths them having any issues with black and white. I think that there is a section of the group, of our community, that is putting this thing out there, spreading these rumours of an issue with black and white. Because the youths them are coming home, bringing home members of other communities, whether they're black, white, or whatever the colour they are. And they haven't got a problem with them. So when they hear the elders, and I can understand what you were saying about the elders, if the elders are pushing an issue and they've got a beef because of slavery with the preceding generations, then growing up, the youths might have heard all of this going on. But when they go to school and they're on the streets, I mean on both sides, they're on the streets and they're growing up, and then they find out that it's not what these elders are saying. The issue with white man, black man is not coming from the youths, though. This is what I'm saying to you. So what's that all about? So we're trying to keep this issue alive in front of their face. Slavery. They're not even interested in slavery because it happened 500 years ago. This is what we get from the youths. Them, they tell you that it happened so long ago. Why are you trying to keep this alive? They don't understand why. And most of the youths are not even interested because their brethren are from the same community as them, and they might be different colours, but they are from the same community. They're going out there on the street and they're doing the same thing as them. They're back to back in war, in postcode wars. They're there to guide and to watch their backs. So when they see that they're being negatively influenced by some of these so-called Back to Africa groups, that's why I'm talking about the Setians, the manipulators, those that who have a personal beef with life. I'm not really looking to sort out the beef that they personally have, but they want to pass it on generationally down to our children, and our children ain't having it. I'm sorry to say. Where have you ever heard of a race war between black and white youths? You've never heard of that. Where? We're in London or outside of London. I mean, you might have heard a little bit outside of London where, but usually it's the older ones. It's not going to be those youths who got brethrens from different races, and they actually are telling us to go. You lot are talking rubbish, mate. That's my brethren, and we ever try to ever say, well, listen, that youth there, we're going to do this to that youth. You must be having a laugh. They are going to tell you in no uncertain terms that you ain't touching that brother. And you can't touch them because they're like brethren, brothers to them. And that's what we've got to try and iron out. What are the elders telling the youths nowadays? What kind of a picture are the adults painting in the minds of our youths today to say, well, there's a race war going on? There isn't in their neck of the woods. It's not like in our day when Stephen Lawrence and all them kind of time and, National Front and all them kind of thing. Those days are done. If you say, well, racism has gone covert or overt inwards, then that's a point in argument which we can understand. But generally, I don't think our youths are seeing this problem. They don't see that they've got a problem with the next youth, be it black or white. That's not the issue. And we're kind of making it an issue for them. The way we talk about Africa and we're to tear and tear, they are saying black people, and like the youth was saying, especially black people need to sort themselves out. And the youth was correct. And it's nothing wrong with being ambitious to have a career and to have to go to work and then leave the children with the older ones and who maybe not even, taking good care of the children because they feel it's not their responsibility. You know what I mean? So we're being caught between the devil and the deep blue sea when it comes down to ambition and careers. We're not saying that black people shouldn't have any career or shouldn't be mindful about having ambition, but shouldn't their children come first? Does it mean that when you have children, you've lost the ability to have a career? Or should you sacrifice your career, right? As you were saying that, as we were saying that, when they come home from school, it's like the parents not there, and you understood that and say, look, they have to go out and work. So it's not that the youths don't understand or have no understanding about that. They're fully clued up on this, as it said, but they need to know that where they are. So it's going to be with you in just 1 second.
I'm Mikey Dan. Saturday mix up.
Okay, we're back on target. You're in tune to Genesis Radio and People's Talk Show. Numbers for your interactions are 07931 2762 and 32, and I repeat 07931 27 62 and 32. We're bringing it into the studios. We're still waiting for our guest, and I have no idea. It's true, this is the second time I've done this. I've told you about the guest coming through, and he hasn't arrived yet. A lot of people are waiting. I don't know what's happening, but time is now 4:30 and counting. And we're discussing about how the perception, how our perception is. Do we have the right perception? Now, we ain't doing the right things because of what's happening, and we're trying to sweep it under the carpet. But as it grows and goes, generations are being caught because we have to ask the question, what about the next generation? What are they thinking? Are we the last of the Mohicans? And we're going to be taking instructions, or the next generation will be taking instructions from a different breed of generation now when concerning our approach to society. This is what I'm saying. We're not being educated how to handle society. That's where I see the problem is. We've been negatively influenced by some of these little groups, these little fringe groups. If they get their act together and stop just talking about black and white and African and all that kind of thing, this is what I'm saying. If they were to educate the youths them much better, in a better way, because immediately you start to educate them about black and white. We know it's an issue, but they're not seeing it as an issue. So what are you going to tell them? Don't talk to no youths that are white, or don't talk to no youths that are Indian. Just talk to bare black youths. You know what that's going to do? That's going to forge a mindset of what I call fear. You know what I mean? And mistrust. And if you're in a community where it's a multiracial community, how is that going to work? And I want to know, how is that educating when they don't even have a problem? Well, if you do have a problem, call in and let me know. How do you see the world? Do you see it in terms of black and white? Numbers are 07931 27 62 and 32. And I repeat, 07931 27 62 and 32. Do you see it in terms of black and white? Is it a real issue? Is it an issue, right? That our youths are seeing it as we're seeing it. They don't see it that way. They think to me, they see it, they're all in this thing together, and it's about making sure that we're able to handle society as a community. This is what I'm seeing nowadays. and moving away from this idea of I know that racism exists. I'm not denying that racism exists, and we know it does. But to what extent does it exist? To the point where our youths are not even seeing it like that, because they don't hear them talking about racism. They're out there to make a quick buck. That's why they got all these trap houses. I'd like to somebody to call me and tell me about these trap houses. What's influencing you to? Is it just kidnap that the youths are being kidnapped by bigger elders? Because when you're talking about biggers and elders, you're not talking about my generation. This is the thing, though, because I'm on a generation before that. You're talking about elders. You're not talking about my generation at all. But you're talking about the generation after my generation, and probably even after that. Because today's you're looking at what is a big man? A big man is somebody in their late 20s now. Because some of them I can't believe that Tupac was 23. I can't even believe that Biggie was 25. And you look at them brothers; they look like about 40. Isn't it? I was quite shocked to see. I wonder if they got the age right, because it doesn't match up. P. Diddy and them boys there. You see what I'm saying? They took over the generations. They are the ones that have the generation in hand now. They are influencing the generations that follow now. What's his name? What's that other geezer name? Tall, dark one. He looks like a pimp all the time. You know what I mean? They are the ones that they are following. You said that they're following the elders. Now, I want to tell the youth that it's not my elder group you're following. You see? It's the one immediately after you, which is much younger than me. And then even younger than you'd be talking about my grandchildren then, really, in reality. Not my immediate generation, which my sons are in their 40s and 50s. You see? And they ain't tailing them youths to they never see a life of crime. Or a life of whatever they're doing out there. They've never seen that to want to pass it on. Maybe they're interpreting the society's actions, trying to tell us it's not that. That's the problem. We don't know how to leverage our wealth. We don't know how to do any of these things. We don't know how to build, to be involved in politics, to be involved in other things, to be doctors, to be lawyers. We're not getting that kind of information coming from liberation groups. What you get from liberation group is don't become a doctor, don't get involved in education because it's a brainwash education. And I think we also can lay the blame at those groups' feet as well, because they're the ones that are negatively influencing our people not to get involved in society. So if you're not going to get involved in society, how are you going to learn how to deal with a case? You see, you're not being informed properly. You see, and you're not being told what not to do and what to do. I'll read the text here with my glasses. You see, and this is our problem. This is what I see in any case. Okay, text sender says, Heru. Where is it? Heru, I am middle-aged and never had a white friend. But you are correct. The youths would kill someone who the youth. I'm looking at two phones one time, my one and getting texts from both sides. But you are correct. The youths would kill someone who looks like them for their white friends in their clique. And this is exactly what I'm saying. You see? And so this is the reality of the thing. So when we're trying to educate our children about being black and all that, or not even, we're not really trying to, well, we do try to influence them that way, to look about their blackness, right? Something else is happening. It's not that for them. That is not the problem. Recognizing their blackness is not the problem. But for them, being unable to have a strategy in society seems to be the problem, because we ain't telling them about no strategy. Look, it's what I'm talking about, these Setians, you know. I even call them Satanists. Those ones that want to create havoc. They're the ones that we have to blame as well, not only society. As I said earlier, where do we lay the blame? If there's blame to be laid, and some people say lay at the government's feet, yeah, I can understand that. But it's not only in society's feet we've got to lay the blame at, you know. We also got to lay the blame in our community, where these little negative influences every day that are not training our children to become expert in certain things. We're not encouraging them to learn how to strategize in a society that's against them. How to deal with the name for that. I'm trying to remember it. Adversity. How to handle. Our youths can't handle adversity. Did you know that back in the day in the Indian, the Sioux and Blackfoot in America, you know what you had to go through before he was a man? You know, they hang him by his breast, and he would have to hang up there in noonday sun from morning right through to sundown, and he would have to stand the pain. When he done that, he's a man. And look at that. And I thought, wow, you know, the initiation stages in being a man, puberty. You know, we don't have those kind of initiation programs anymore for our youths, right? They've grown up without any form of initiation or without any form of idea about the situation that they're in. They've been negatively influenced because we've got these no good little fringe groups out there telling you you're black and African, and it counted nothing for them. Telling you to leave this country's a waste of time, you know what I mean? But, you know, making it very uncomfortable for us to even live here. It's not everybody wants to come out of here. And you see these same little groups as well. Look at that Cheddar Man thing. You would think that these little fringe groups, these little liberation groups about the place, especially here in the UK, in London, in the southeast, Peckham to be exact, these little fringe groups they're even running it down. And that's proof to what I'm saying, that they have a different agenda. And when you see these little liberation groups, they are fully clued up about these people talking crap. You understand what I'm saying? Which I don't blame them. They said they keep wanting to give us this image of slaves. Them telling me that I should look at myself as a kidnapped people. And I'm trying to wonder, where does that go for me to have that kind of imagery as a kidnapped people? Am I to walk about this place with that image in my mind? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that a strategy? The youths are not interested in being slaves, right? They don't want to associate themselves with inferior people, and they keep spreading this spirit of inferiority over our community, right? And they don't want us to let go of this ideology. So, because as you can see, you hear them every day on the radio, and they're running down the Cheddar Man now. They're not only running down the Cheddar Man, they were running down the Black Panther. You see? So everything that comes out to take us away from this entrenched position, and to allow us to evolve as a community, a wise community, business-minded community. Because they're telling you mustn't have any business with anybody but black. What kind of thing is that? How can you have a business only for black and black only? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Black only business. That means to say anybody that walks through the door is got to be black. If anybody else comes through that door and it's not black, don't serve them. Or just buy them at the door. You can't do that. And this is the kind of negative influence in that producing the inability in our children, not only the government. See, we might say, yes, the government's not allowing us to discipline our children anymore. Fine. But we can find other ways of disciplining our children, of putting, letting them become what you call discipline. We can discipline our children with other means, with initiation programs, with health programs, with exercise, with a lot of other things. We can discipline them. We don't have to really slap them. I've never beat my children, but they're grown up well disciplined, right? And if you're talking about girls and all that, yes, they're probably having many women, what can I say about that? They're following their instinct, innit? Their primordial feelings, grow up in them, and they pass puberty and they have sex. Of course, there should be. You're live on Genesis.
Oh, just a few quick points, and I've now changed my mind. I know people are going to laugh at me, but I'm going to say this. There will be a race war, and that's going to be in America. The Hispanics against the black people, the Cubans, the whites, the things, because I know some people push into a race war. At first it will turn into a class war, but then it'll be like things splitting over, and then you will see turn into a race war.
Yeah, Bertrand, what's the point of a race war? If whoever wins that war, what are they going to own? The streets? They ain't going to own any business. They're not going to go into any government. You know what I'm saying? They can't own the streets because the government's got the soldiers and the police to deal with that. So what would be the point of this race war?
No, what you don't understand is this. You said the government owns soldiers and the police, right? It's not like in films where soldiers can just jump through glass and just one shot and this and that. It is showed in films.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Bertrand. Yeah, okay,
right. What will happen is in that race war, loads of casualties will happen. I mean, loads of casualties. Soldiers would die, people would die, disabled would die.
No, but
it would be too much.
You said I don't understand, yeah? But I don't see it that way. I don't see no race war. I think people are moving away.
People want that to trigger order and disorder and chaos.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. You say people want it, but where is the evidence?
Well, I listen to a different presenter.
Yeah,
on a different radio station.
That's right. They're fueling the war.
Some people
that want
to trigger disorder and chaos.
Yeah, but you know what, Bertrand? I think those other radio stations you listen to, they want to fuel the war. They have a vested interest in instead of sowing seeds of unity, right? They want to sow seeds of mistrust and hatred and segregation, alienation, because they don't understand certain spiritual aspects of the world.
Well, how comes whistleblowers? Then I'll put you this point. How comes whistleblowers like Assange, whistleblowers like things, put out these information and they blow the whistle?
I don't trust
Somebody else blew this whistle.
I don't trust them. I think these are the said people that has an agenda. You see? Don't forget.
Yeah, but they're on the run.
Yeah, but
somebody's been dropped in the. Look at Snowden. He's still in Russia. They can't. If they try to extradite him, it's on.
Yeah, but yeah, but what's he on the run for? What is he on the run for then? Tell me.
He's on the run because this government is extra. He put all these secret documents out. So in the end, they're going to trigger a war. First a class, then a race war, because it's already been pushing for
so
that.
We're going to sit
People
there.
have been fueled on fire.
So we're going to stand there and we're going to be like, like a puppet, and we're going to be like lemmings, and we're going to go into a race war because somebody's fueling it. And you don't hate no one. Or, I mean, they must have some power to really, start this race war, because it's not everybody seeing things like that.
And also disabled. It's not a race, but it's also a class.
Well, class. There's always been a class war. Class war is always this is the real war. As far as I'm concerned, this is the real war. It's going to be about class, bruv. Once again.
I mean, look what happened in 2011, right? When the riots happened, don't say, like, this is what I saw it. The police could not have dealt with all those people with sticks and things. I mean, the army, the common thing, but it's not going to be easy like they do in films, because these people are
always feared by films. Oh, the army can go in like you see in Spooks and shoot 1, 2 and go through windows with their body. No, that's not the case. There'll be a lot of war, violence and war. You see what's happened in Thailand. You see what's happened in Syria. It's not easy as how they portray it. If there was a war here, you know the army would start running away like ladies and chickens.
But that's a class war. Thailand and all them other places. It's not a race war. You know, it's
I know
a class
that,
war.
but
you see?
But then it will turn from a class war. It will turn into a race war.
Not really. I don't really agree with that. Let's see if anyone else agrees then, Bertrack. Thank you for that. Let's see if anyone else can back up that, right? Thank you very much. You're in tune to Genesis Radio and People's Talk Show. How do you feel about that? Is there going to be a race war? Who's fueling this war in the first place? Who's managing this war? Because at the end of the day, our youths don't think there's a race war. And if you're a youth out there and you see, and how much brethren have you got from different races, and the numbers are for you to text in and ring in 07931 27 62 and a 32, and I repeat 07931 27 62 and a 32 will bring you into the studios. You can text in, and you can also call in on that number. I have a next text here that coming over distorted. It calls. Oh, all right. So our callers are coming over distorted. Let me turn this phone right down then. So that should be a bit better. The caller's coming over distorted. Sorry about that, folks. The engineers need to be on this one, and they should be on this one. I've got a text here I want to read that's coming on my phone. Let me see. Oh, don't know. Oh, the volume's too high. I'd rather hear you talk. I'd rather hear you talk than Bertrack. Okay, right. Okay, no. Man's giving his opinion. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if any more texts on this. Get here. On this thing. Right. Every call is the same. You have one. No, there's no. Sort out the phone line. It's hissing. Done that already. Right. Important. Listening, isn't it? All right. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Call in and let me know. Do you think there's going to be a race war? Are they fueling this race war? I don't know. It's in the minds of people. Some people are more comfortable with the idea that there should be a race war. We know what there's a class war at all points. I think that's a distraction because I think they want us to feel distracted about this. They want to fuel this. As far as I'm concerned, fueling this war is just what it is about for them. That the war is there for their purposes, to suit their purposes. They want the race war, as far as I'm concerned, because it's not the same thing what our youths are seeing. I've never heard a youth complaining that they're like back in my day. I was battling skinheads on the street, hand to hand, bruv. Me and my brethren, back to back, passing through Stockwell Manor, right? There used to be a lot of skinheads in Stockwell Manor. Yeah, there was an Irish guy there once. He was a wrestler as well. I don't know if that's in the 60s. I don't know if any of you from Stockwell Manor know about this wrestler guy. He used to be the bad boy in the school. You see what I'm saying? And he was like the bad boy. I got a text here. Text sender says, in London, I doubt a race war could happen because we are all mixed. I mean, there is no black family without a white member or an Asian or whatever. It's true. Where is this race war people talking about? And I think it's fueled by some of these little fringe groups, these little back to Africa groups. You see, again, back to Africa. They don't want us to know that we were the kings and the princes and the queens here in back in the days. They don't want us to think like that. They want to make it uneasy for us to even exist here, so that they can have their agenda. You see, look at as I said, the very self-same groups that are supposed to be talking about liberation are fighting down Cheddar Man, and they're fighting down Black Panther. Why? Oh, see, now they're doing the same thing. So when they do all this and they leave us unable to do anything with ourselves, but just to gather and thinking about Africa, you see what I'm saying to you? So we can lay the blame at the feet of the government and society, yes, to a degree. But there is also blame to be had of these little fringe groups that, with know-nothing personalities, with people that they speak authoritatively, and they don't know squat diddly. And all they're doing is herding us into this kind of a position where we can't do anything. We're not training our youths to be strategic. Go on, take on that thing. Go and learn politics. Yes, get up there. Get your PhD. Yeah, you know what I mean. Become entrepreneurs. Yes, man. You know, become engineers, technicians. Do all this. What's happening now? We're more technicians on the streets, gangs, and this is the result. Because the youth is right. They're only following us. We're never encouraging them to go and do these things. We're encouraging them to become activists. What you know what I mean? And become charities. And yet, look what's happened. And they want to blame Oxfam for some of the abuse of the people whom they went out to help. But it's the same damn thing that they've been doing. But when the mist clears, look who's also feeding. Like a little bloodsucker as well. A little, you know. You can see when the mist clears and you can see who's feeding on us in Africa. These groups are also feeding too. Because they are the self-same ones that will keep a negative image of Africa. You've never heard one of these Back to Africa groups talk about Africa as being self-sufficient. They always say, Africa's giving away the resources. Africa is doing this. Africa needs help. Who were the ones during the Ebola crisis? We're begging, having barrels brought to their offices with clothes and telling you to bring your clothes, and they're perpetuating that same image. They're no better than Oxfam. Because when they go to Africa, now, how many of them got families down there? I can name a few. I'm telling you, I can name a few. They go down there to do that as well, and they have children too. You see? They're just as bad. They're in the feeding frenzy. Text sender 382 says, today's problems. Race war is non-existent. We have to look at ourselves. The senior elders who have the knowledge that the junior elders didn't take on. Thank you for that, text sender. Yeah, I can see the point. So I'll read that one more time. Today's problems. Race war is non-existent. We have to look at ourselves. The senior elders have the knowledge that the junior elders didn't take on. Okay. That could be a point. The junior elders, but then I don't hear any junior elders saying much. I still hear these little old, what do you call it, hardback, tough, battle-worn, with the same little pipe dream that they have had against unity. They should be the first ones in knowing that, look, we did it in the Angela Davis days, with Black Power, all that thing, FISA and all that thing, right? We did it then, and we have settled the streets. No longer do you see signs, black people, or no blacks, no Irish, or niggers go home. You know what I mean? No longer. Remember, we used to walk on the streets, paint on the wall, go home, you black bastard. You get what I'm saying to you? We've seen loads of that back in the day, especially in Stockwell. We used to see enough of that. Me and my brethren used to go and look for them. We say, all right, we're not going to, sit there and wait for them. When we hopped off school, when I used to go to Kennington, I got expelled from William Penn. Big up all the Penn boys in the area. Enough respect. Got bad boy school. Bad boy school with Tulsil. Dick Shepherd. Dick Shepherd was a girls' school. But I tell you what, Dick Shepherd them girls weren't afraid to join in with us. And when we had problems because William Penn was mainly, we had some tough white boys in William Penn. Cousins and all them kind of people there. Bermondsey boys, tough cookies. You understand what I mean? It was evenly balanced, bruv. You know what I mean? And they had the, Hell Angels. And one day, I tell you the truth, you know what happened? I was in the first year, William Penn, I was a little messenger. Me and my brethren were like, because at the top gate, you come through the top gate, and that was the first year playground. But underneath the gym area, bare frontline man there, big champions them, the hardcore men them down there. So we were like the messengers. So anything come to the top gate, So these boys, cousins, I think his name, Bermondsey boys, white boys, tough cookies, had a beef with one of our lads, and the day before, and some altercation, and they left the next day. But he weren't satisfied. The cousins boy weren't satisfied. He's a tough cookie. Trust me, a tough cookie. He came back next day with about 4 Hell Angels coming through the school, leather jackets, studded up, and all. We just saw these 4 Hell Angels coming through the top gate. You know what I mean? Studded up and everything like that. Walking down to one of our brethren and say, "Oi, do you remember me, mate?" And as soon as my brethren turned around, a right hook. Walk. He didn't care. I said, "Yeah." I remember my brethren took off down there, and we just barred out 2 things. I remember this like yesterday. I just stood at the top of the stairs and said, "White man a beat up black man. White man a beat." That's all I have to say, bruv. You hear thundering hooves like cattle. Boom, 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 boom. I'm telling you, it's like a cattle stampede. You can feel the earth vibrate. And when you look, what was coming up from underneath the gym, those of you who know William Penn know what I'm talking about, gym area, Skittles, not them big thick Skittles, big hobnail boots, clunk, clunk, clunk. Yo, bruv, I'm telling you, when these, and I have to mention the name, Eric Good, brethren of mine, he was the first one up there. Trust me, he was all muscle up and everything. I mean, we had the Pollard, Danvers, we have all these big boys and my brother, and you know what I mean, and all of these, Polly, 2 Pollards, and you know what I mean, and enough frontline men went to that school as well. And when this brother, when the Hell Angels look around and see what was coming up from underneath the earth, bruv, he thought all hell had broke loose, and 4 of his brethren took off and left him one there, took off out the gate. I said yes, and we all surrounded this one brother. He was a tough cookie. We got to give him that. He was a tough cookie. We surrounded it, and we formed a ring in the first year in the cage. Is it the thing we call a cage? No, yeah, it was in the cage. He somehow got into the cage. We just surrounded it, a big circle like that, and looking at it. We had to admire this geezer. We just stood there looking at him, say, "Yeah, what are you gonna do now, bruv? You brought your brethren them, they took off like a rocket. Now you're surrounded. Right, what are you going to do?" And we stood there with Skittles in our hand, looking at him, we're circling him. Teacher was watching this. Who tell him to come in the gate? Teacher allowed that, because they shouldn't be in that gate, because he had left school. And this brother took off his belt, he had a studded belt, a big thick studded belt with iron studs in it. He said, "Any one of you black so-and-so, come on." And we thought, bloody hell, this brother is cool, bruv. And we just looked at him and thought, this guy got some guts, We admire him, we might have let him go. Because we kind of thought, wow, you're one brave nutter. Here you are, surrounded by, you're next to death, bruv. And you're taking off your belt, talking about any one of you blacks, come on. That's how tough these white brothers were in William Penn. So when I look at idiot white boy, they were like national fronts now. They come from Bermondsey and probably mixed with the craze and all that. We had them type of people in our schools. What are we talking about? Yo, and when we surrounded them, we had enough now, because you're taking the Michael now, innit? So my mate brethren, to see a brethren jump up in the air like a flying kung fu thing. You just see get over the ring, because we were surrounding them. See what black brothers, one of them was jump up. Don't know how he managed that. Up over the ring and kung fu'd him, kick him, and he's dropped on the floor, and that was it. We was closing, but we were giving him some licks, and he said till the end he had to run. I said, yes, you're supposed to run long time ago. We do tell a face that you run, and he run out the gate. Yes, we're behind him, Skittles. Whoop, whoop. Well, some of that. Bad boy school, Penn was. You know what I'm saying? But the next day, I'm telling you, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we heard, no one should leave the school. But we as young ones, we were out there. And when we went out there, we saw, you know what we saw? You know what we saw? We saw Hell Angels, you know what I mean? Like studied up, van loads of Hell Angels at the top gate, sawn off shotguns, motorbike, the whole lot. See, so, you know what I mean? So we dealt with that. You know what I mean? We dealt with that. And we brought, and then down the bottom, word went out to the front line, Brixton, Talkshow, Dick Shepherd. Yo, you see the girls in the park at the bottom gate. The park was absolutely crammed. When I said the park was rammed, the park was ram. With Talkshow, Dick Shepherd, other people front line, they got wind of it. Yo, if they didn't, the black, that time we got Black Mariahs. I mean, remember Black Mariah? Yeah, the Black Mariahs were there, and the police gave orders. No one was to leave the school. We said, "Oh, come on, sir, let us out. Come on." We're dropping all. You hear all the metal pipes dropping. Let us clang, clang. Let us out. He said, "No one's leaving the school over the tannoy. Everybody stay in the school, right?" And you know, till the police came and cleared the whole lot of them. Had they not done that, there would have been a blood. That's what I call race war and bloodbath. That's a race war. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have that today. Where is this race war people keep talking about? Not in London, England, because we settled the streets already, you know, bro. We settled the streets. We can walk on the. That's why some of the youths then must have realised, well, we couldn't walk on the street like how they can. We couldn't walk in the streets, mate. We had to go and fight our way, you know, on the streets until we settled the streets for them to walk without any bother. You have to walk and fear nothing. You see what I'm saying to you? There was no fear there. They were cool. You understand what I'm saying? They were cool. But these youths have to appreciate the fact that we had to settle the streets of London, England, for them to walk in peace. There's no more blacks go home signs on the street. And we even settled the police as well. The police didn't go about picking on us like before again. There's no more police jumping out of Black Mariahs and start kicking us and, you know, like Starsky and Hutch. We used to call these two policemen in Brixton Starsky and Hutch. The police have to behave themselves now. You see? So we have done great. We have excelled and we've done all this. But these little fringe group was keeping us back from development. With their, I don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? They have interest in causing to making mayhem, and our youths are teaching us differently. You look at the youths. What they're telling you. They're like back to back with their brethren. You see what I mean? They ain't worried about no white black issue. Their brethren is white. You know, they're back to back on the streets. They fought other gangs, you know what I mean? Postcode wars and Indians. You know, you hear the Indians, look how the Indians talk like us. You know, acting like us. So in the end of the day, we are very influential people. We don't even have to be in power to rule, bruv. Our personalities alone cause people to want to be like us. How about that? You know, where we should be teaching the youth how to become bankers, right? How to become, you know, entrepreneurs, how to, you know, be economics, how to get some for themselves, you know what I mean? And bring it back to the community and help our community. But we're not teaching them nothing. No wonder why the youth are saying what they're saying today. They're copying us. But now some of them are not even copying us anymore. They thought, oh, you're talking about the crap. You know, rubbish. Slavery. They're not interested in slavery. Why are we forcing it down their throat to be African and things like that? When they look at Africans in the gangs that kicking their ass, there's some Africans, a lot of Africans doing that too. You see? A load of Africans are on the opposite side of the fence as far as they're concerned. So they don't understand us saying, oh, Africans are good. When it was an African that stabbed one of their brethren. You know, I know them thing there. So I don't understand the mishmash and the confusion, twice confounded. Text sender says, Heru, as you and X have been saying for the longest, We are the indigenous to this entire planet. These small-minded Back to Africa groups had to reject the Cheddar Man evidence because it flies in the face of their unrealistic rhetoric that we must all belong to Africa. They fill up their days with endless rescue missions in the least developed parts of Africa. That's right. Blame the white man for all their woes and relieve their unresolved trauma on the airwaves. That's what they do. The youths have no time for that. And I don't blame them, which is true. They ain't got time for that. They want to learn strategy, how to become economically, efficient. We're not training them. We're not telling them nothing. You know what I mean? That's why they don't want to listen to us. We haven't got a strategy. There is no strategy that they have that we can show them to become sufficient. And I blame myself as well. You see? I blame myself as well. Strategy. There's no strategy that we can show our children to have and to adopt than the one, oh, you're black and African, go back to Africa, hey, this place is horrible, you know, hey, you see them places, and negatively influencing us because their little stupid agenda, right? They've got an agenda. Our youths have to know that they have the ability and they can develop the strategy of how to operate. And the government's quite glad and happy to know that we're not strategically training our children. You see what I'm saying? We're not strategically placing them. The children are right. We're not doing nothing. And we think because we say that we're black and African is something. They don't know nothing about Africa. The youth that they're fighting are Africans. The one that's stabbing them and shooting them are the children of Africans. What do you think they are? They're not whites. They're not whites doing that. You don't see a gang of whites fighting postcodes. And you're not going to fight a postcode because you're white and it's a white area. There's no more white areas here anymore. East End used to be one. Stockwell used to be one. But now it's a complete different sort of thing. You see what I'm saying to you? It's not that anymore. And a lot of children are being growing up as well. They have mixed race parents, so they don't see that way. Why are we telling you about this war? It's in the minds of people. It's not a reality. These youths are looking to make something of themselves, and they're sort of saying to us, "Well, you ain't doing nothing, big man. What are you doing, big man? You're talking about going back to Africa, but you ain't produced nothing for us so that we can follow and adapt like the Asians. They can follow their parents and with businesses and stuff like that. But there's nothing that we've give them. Nothing. No businesses. No nothing. No way forward. They have to do their own thing. You understand what I'm saying? They have to do their own thing. They're forced to. We still got big ass grown men talking about going back to bloody Africa. Like say, isn't a big thing. Big ass tearing man them, right? Who continue to negatively influence our people. And I said that you think you can blame Oxfam for the way things are going down. When the mist has been cleared, look who's blood sucking as well. Look who's blood sucking as well. It's the same groups that are talking about going back to Africa, the same groups that talk about liberation, the same group about reparation. And all they want to do is use us, bruv. That's not good enough for them. Telling people to go and march for reparation, what kind of thing is that? That ain't making any sense. Marching for reparation, spending £8,000 every time you march. You could put that £8,000 to better use, couldn't you? We want buildings. We don't want no pipe dreams. You're going to a massa who enslaved you in the first place and on a say no have sense. We're not going to the same people that enslaved you in the first place, cap in hand. You see? Going to the devil's house, number 10 Downing Street. You lot say he's the see what they say, telling us that the white man's the devil. But you're going to the devil's house. You're begging the devil. You're knocking at the devil's door. And who opens the door? A black man. Who takes your petition, which is not even enough to cause any argument in Parliament? Who opens the door and takes your petition? A black man in the devil's house. And you go when it was shut. Parliament is not even there. So you take £8,000 to march when nobody's there. You won't say, "Oh, he's making awareness." Listen, we're tired of being made aware. We want more than just a wish and a pipe dream for our children, right? We want more than that. We don't want the hopes and wishes, some futuristic ideology for our youths. We want to leave something behind that they can operate, that they can use and make more money and better themselves. Respect this. You know what I mean? That's what they're looking for. We ain't got that. Then no wonder why they're doing their own thing. It's a shame. We've got no strategy at all, but a pipe dream, a wish, because of these hard, tough, battle-worn people, battle-worn people that better go and sit down and retire with their little backward type of thinking. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're left with. Instead of taking the money and go on making a building, you want to spunk £8,000 up the wall, piss it up the wall, right? It costs you £8,000 to march. You ever hear that? So we've marched 4 years now. See? And that's how much money that is. 32,000. We've pissed it up the wall, bruv. 32 grand pissed up the wall. Or you may say, well, it's for a reason. Yeah, fine. But you just spunked 32 grand and you don't even have a tent. 34 grand. Yeah, 34 grand. Up the wall. Does it make sense to you? Now, this coming year, going to cost you another 8,000. My God, come on. To do what? To go to the devil's house? To see the devil's what? He's not even there. He's on holiday. You're going to have a lone black man. You're going to take your 2,000 worth of, 2,000 worth of signature. You need 10,000 to even have it debated in Parliament. 10,000 to be heard, to be recognised, and 100,000 to be debated in Parliament. So every year you're going to be wishing on a star, squandering our money, and you tell me, that's sense? No wonder why you them think we are idiot. They must think we are idiot. Because what kind of man them? Them man, they're fool. And we're suffering here, and you lot are spunking 34 grand up the wall, and we want things for our community. We don't have any sense, though. Have you lot got any sense? Is the question that we need to ask. These old battle-worn people who've been fighting from the longest of time, right, who need to go and retire, bruv. They need to go and sit down and retire. You see? Instead of leading us up the garden path without a bloody paddle at the creek, without a paddle. Come on. Where's the sense in all of this? What's going on? Where's our strategy? If creating a race war is the only strategy we got, because it seems like that's where we're going, we're kind of fueling this idea. Oh, we can talk about that, the white man this and the white man that, and our children are fighting black. And the most worst confusion thing is, 1 minute they're telling you that the blackness and all about blackness, and in the same voice they're telling you not to trust the black man. This is hold on. No, hear me what I'm trying to say to you, because I've been in these so-called liberation groups for the longest of time. I hear them saying, black man, this, we've got to be black and African, black and all that. But they said at the same time, in the same breath, he said, don't trust the black man. Don't trust the black man. But you just told me that black is this and black is that. Now you're telling me, say, the man that's going to stab me in my back is a black man. Make up your mind, you know what I mean? 1 minute you're trying to get us to be all that, and the next minute you're telling us, don't be careful of the one who stab you in the back is a black man. And when you go to when the postcode war's happening, who are the youths fighting? Black children, Africans at that too. There's a lot of Africans that are in some of these gangs in come from the Congo and come from Nigeria. Tough brothers, right? And they want a rut because they come from places where there's bare rat going on there, and they don't fire catapults neither. You know, and you take a Somalian for instance. You think that Somalians don't know what war is? They've grown up with guns. They're in battle-worn areas. So when they come, so when they come here, it's peanuts for them. It's nothing. They will quickly stab a man, or chop a man, because it's something that they're used to, and they lord it over us. I can bet you the nationality of enough of these gang leaders are Africans. I'm telling you, tough cookies who have run away from that kind of thing, have come to England, and we're here quoting them the same ideas as they are, and this is what's happening. No strategy for our children, just the same old. No wonder why they're fed up. No wonder why they're distorted, don't know what to do. They'd rather go to prison, because prison offer them little stability. You understand what I'm saying? And when they go to prison, they get educated in prison. You see what I'm saying to you? And there's nothing on the street for them, because we're not showing them anything. All we're showing them is, you better get out of here because it's white man country, and don't go education because this and that. Don't get educated because it's brainwash education. We're responsible for negatively influencing, and this is part of our trauma. You see what I'm saying? We're part of negatively influencing our children. Let's talk about how they can become politicians. Let's talk about how they can become technicians, doctors. You know what I mean? They don't get encouragement from us. That's the encouragement that they need from us. You know, to become big in this time. You see what I'm saying to you? Find yourselves in politics as well. Why not? You know, fight for us. You know what I mean? You know, get involved in that. Know about voting. You know, if they were busy doing that, they will be less busy trying to get into jail, because jail is an option for them now. You know what I mean? They want to go to jail now because it's easy. The only thing they don't have is a woman. All they've got to be worried about is becoming gay. But then that's in line with some of the hip-hop scenes out there. They're wearing their trousers down, making a statement forever that I'm gay, wearing my pants down, showing my backside, like people interested in their backside. And up to now, there's no explanation why. We'd love an explanation. What is it? What do you see in wearing your pants like that? What are you trying to say? What is the statement that you're trying to make to us? It would be nice to know. What is it? Why do you do that? And yet, to date, none of them can ever explain this. Or maybe they don't want to. So they leave it up to us to think. Last time I checked it out, in America, is when a man get like raped in prison, is somebody's bitches, and he's wearing. Pardon my French. No disrespect to women. That's what they call it. Somebody's woman, and this is what they're doing. They're saying, "I'm available." You see, is this what they're trying to say? We don't know, because no one has called in and said, "Well, you know, this is the reason why we have become like that, and this is the reason why we are wearing our pants down our pants, because we want to, make a statement forever." Are we making a statement forever? We have made a statement forever. You see, what is it our youths are trying to say? They acting out their trauma. You see, and from their acting out their trauma, then this is the result of trauma. You see, and I'd just like to say that our guest is on its way. So we have the guest coming still. So don't hold tight. We have the prophet coming in. We'll change the subject when he comes to a different topic. But I want to rinse this one out, so we can have an understanding of where we are, who's really pulling the strings. You see, these. You know what we say. If you listen to my show during the week, I talk about the spiritual thing. I tell you that the person is known as a Setian, which is Satan, which is called the aberration. Remember I told you about the aberration? The man that's risen his consciousness to 1/3 of the higher mind. Only 1/3, of the higher mind, but not enough. And we call him the aberration. He's neither a Saho, he's neither a Ab, he's neither an All-Star man, but he's an aberration. Aberration, a Satan. You talk about Satan, this is what it means. An aberration. And how many people do you know like that? You don't have to look very far, Look around your community, look around at the Satan. The Setian that has risen his knowledge. He's quite knowledgeable, right? And he's quite good at that because he's risen, he's awakened 1/3 of his higher mind and has become an aberration. Satan, the manifestation of evil, the one that will fuel the fire of racism, fuel the fire of hatred, like witches around the cauldron, rubbing their hand with glee as they mastermind this idea of unrest. They're not there to bring peace and knowledge and understanding, like what we try to do here in Genesis. We're trying to bring an understanding for you. That's why we want the youths to tell us so we can understand, why are you doing the things you do? Explain to us. Blame us if you like. Let us know so we can somehow try and turn it around and help you in your efforts of understanding yourself, of trying. We can support you. If the last thing we do before we pop off on the next level, right, we can at least, some of us who have inheritance can leave it to children's homes, or, Children shouldn't be in homes. They shouldn't be in homes. Children's homes. Look at the one there, that footballer last week who was abusing children. Look, and that was in the 60s. They're big. I saw them on the television, and I felt so sorry for them. This age life is. I thought, no, I really felt it for them. Seriously, I felt it. I thought, my God, look at that. You obviously are mixed up in your mind because you have been abused by people who you trusted. And a little pervert, when he was in the court, he seemed smiling, shaking his head. You know what I mean? I just felt like, that brother there. You see what I'm saying? When he goes into jail, man, they're going to give him they're going to make him eat crap. Trust me on that. These people are big men now in their 40s, and they can't have a proper relationship with a woman. You see? This is the thing. This is where we are in the scheme of things. How are we going to manifest ourselves out of this, is because we need to start to think of our youths, listening to the youths. The youths are saying to us, what race war? I'm not fighting no race. I'm fighting my own people. And yet the people who talk about liberation are negatively influencing us. 1 minute they're telling us black is all right and black is good, black is great. But in the next voice, they're telling us, don't trust the black man. If somebody look like you, going to stab you. Somebody look like you, going to sell you out. And them look like you. But I just thought you just told me that it's okay to be black. And I have to trust my people because they're black. Now you're telling me don't trust them. Make your mind up. Come on, make your mind up. Which is it? Are we going to trust them or are we not? We need to know, because it can't work that way. You can't have it both ways like that. Trusting them and don't trust them. It's going to be the black man going to stab you in the back. So it's this kind of confusion, this Setian, this Sebekian type of approach to mystify, to muddy the waters. These people, that's what they do. You see? Muddy the waters. We got to be aware of this. We got to rescue our children, train them. They're not being trained in strategy. You understand what I'm saying? We haven't got no strategy to give them. So how are we going to go? Some people want to use nastiness to get through. But I don't think that's a way out, because at the end of the day, You've got to have some morals in this thing. If there's no, the first thing we need to know, there's morals. That's why we're fighting for the moral rights of our children. We don't want them to train our children about same sex at the age of 3, homosexuality, anal penetration at the age. Remember 2 weeks ago, they had a discussion in Parliament and there was a petition going around that we should sign. Remember, that was on my group, my WhatsApp group, the Crossborough group, was being informed that you must sign this petition and get away. Don't let them train your children about same-sex marriage and homosexuality and transgender. Yet you've got this same group who's supposed to be liberating you, having transgender people in your face, bringing their posse of gay people in and telling and explaining to you why they're gay. How can you do that? We're supposed to be diametrically opposed to these things. I thought that's what we were. We were like having a moral of what do you call it? A conflict of morality here, and we thought that we were holding this conflict of morality, and that's why they changed their mind, because the petitions went out straight away. We got the right to take our children out of school, right? If you're going to teach them that. But before, you didn't have the right. They were going for no rights for the parents to take their children out, because as far as they're concerned, there's been too much homophobia and things like that, and there's no understanding about somebody who thinks that he was a man, now he's a bloody girl. You see what I'm saying? You know, for people who have these kind of ideas in them head, I think I'm a woman I'm somebody in a wrong body, as though God makes mistakes. Come on, you're insulting the divinity here. Huh? You're insulting God to say that he makes mistakes. He's made somebody who's in the wrong body. No way do we accept that as black people. That's African. But yet the same people I can name in organizations, presenters in organizations. I've been in organizations now for over 30 odd years, bruv. Yeah. And most of them are gay. Enough of them are playing in gay clubs. Yet they are allowed to go on and talk to you in a way like nothing nagwan. You know what I mean? They play in gay clubs. I'm telling you. Witnesses. I was in an organization one time and we was there and somebody come down and say, look, and I know people was there as well. People, not only me, there's about 4 of us there. So I'm not making this up. 4 other people were there, and I can call on those 4 people right now. And they can't deny that they heard what I heard. The man said, you see that man over there, what you lot got on the station there? He played in gay club. Now he's the biggest thing on the station. The biggest thing on the station. Yet, even if he indulged in that, he shouldn't be on the station. Because we don't know if you're not indulging in it again, you see. So the same people who claim to be rescuing you, just like Oxfam, the charity who went to Haiti, who claimed to be helping people, end up prostituting people on the streets, sending prostitutes on the street. You see? And this is what they're doing. And this is what's happening. No, and we don't just blame Oxfam or the rest of them that was found out. I said, when the mist is removed, look who's feeding there as well. Who's perpetuating the image of Africa as needy, as poor, who keeps going to the poorest parts of Africa. There's 50. Once somebody said on my group, Crossborough group, and because we're trying to unite all the boroughs. That's why it's called Crossborough. We're trying to unite boroughs, every borough, to give them a voice. Let's give ourselves a voice, I thought. So let's call it Crossborough. And somebody came into the group and said, that there's somebody doing all of these things with a transgender and things like that. And we were saying, and they put the partition in there to have the schools to partition against the school, and that was successful. They changed their minds, and I thought, yes, they said good news. The parliamentary have changed, and enough of us didn't even know that this was being argued in Parliament. You understand? Whether or not to take away the rights of our people to have children taken out of the school if they are transgender. You see? And this is the thing. How are we going to do this? How is happening? You see? Let me read some texts. Got some texts here coming here. Text sender said, yeah, I'm going to read the message. Okay. Give us a chance, bruv. Okay. I'm going to read the text now. Okay. The junior elders are still acting like children. Okay, hold on. Okay, today's problems, race war is non-existent. I know they send this again anyway. We have to look at ourselves. The senior elders have acknowledged that the junior elders did not take on right. The junior elders are still acting like children. They have no common sense. They are the grandparents of today. And yeah, I'm telling you, they are still breeding alongside their grandchildren. So that's why black England is defunct. No morals, culture, or understanding. This is producing the inability in our community. Are you not reading the messages today? I am. Just did. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's one message. Text sender says, oh, they have a tent, all right. It's called building their own compounds in Mama Africa. All the money going into the collection box is contributing to their own yards in the Gambia or Sierra Leone. This is what I'm saying to you. This is why we have to be careful. Text sender says, I have seen people from here abuse the Africans worse than Oxfam. It's true. It's true. Text sender say, right. So those are the texts there. Yeah, it's true. This is what we have to fight against. And we have to be real. Let's be real. Let's look at our children and see how we can help them. You know, like me now, with a great grandfather, innit? I have to look at my grandchildren and try to help them. My sons do a sterling job, you know. But what they're up against is those outside in this kind of a negative influencing, because no one's really there to build a foundation. They easily get scrapped up by some of these trap houses. People are like taking them out, you know, putting shoes in their face. Or you can get trainers, or you can get money, knowing and exploiting the situation. See, because we don't come together and financially and even have a foundation where we can help children, because the government do it deliberately. We know that the government's involved in all this as well. They say you can't get any dole money until you're 16 and all that. We don't know that, but we should have a fund. I mean, the entrepreneurship, even the African embassies, 54. Oh yeah, as I was saying, there's somebody put in the Crossbar group that Africa has to have help. Right, because help this individual to get clothes and shoes and things like that. But they're not begging for money, but they wanted us to share that so people can. I'm thinking, well, there's 54 states in Africa, 54, and the AU is worth billions. The AU is worth billions. You Google it and see how much they're worth, right? And they have embassies in how many countries, and yet none of those embassies. I put it back in the group. I said, why don't you? Why don't the Africans help themselves? And I know the Africans can help themselves. They've got the resources. They are not poor. But it's these images of poverty that they keep trying to put forward. Is that the I've got the guess here. Right, the images that are you know, folks, we got our guest in the studio at last, and we're going to have him the guest here now. So we continue this another time. So I think we've watched that. We've flogged this one to death, and I want to thank you for your interactions. And now we're going to be changing the subject. Wow, you know, and we're going to have the guest here now. This man here is what we call a prophet, and we're not going to say anything. All in line with what we need to guide us, to help us to guide our way through life, and rather than we've got to see our way through life rather than hearing our way through life, and we got to be able to know where we're going with things, and so this is in line with what we're talking about here. Respect, blessed man. All right. Yeah, and so I want the guest to introduce himself. Yeah.
Hello everyone. How are you doing?
One sec. Come on.
Yeah, hello everyone. How are you doing? My name is.
Am I hearing you? Oh, use this one.
Okay. Hello everyone. How are you doing? Yes. Blessings. My name is Prof J. Prof J. You can call me Prophet J.
Mm-hmm.
But my name is Prof J.
Prof J.
Yes.
Okay. So, Prof J, this mic is a bit dodgy. Sorry, Prof J. So you are from what part of the country? What part of,
Ghana.
You're from Ghana, yes.
Ghana, yes.
Yeah, Ghana, Africa. So, do you want to put this on? Maybe you can hear it better.
Okay.
Yes. So you're from Ghana in Africa, yes?
Yes, that's right.
And you're just what would you call yourself? Because you're when you say prophet, pastor, or what?
Prophet. You can. Yeah, it's a religious. Title.
Okay.
You know, it's a religious title. Yes. So yes. Okay. Yes. So that's prophet. Yeah. It's more like a reverend minister, but it's another title.
Mm-hmm.
In the ministry. So when we say prophet is somebody who tells God's mind what concerning your life.
Mm-hmm.
So a prophet is somebody who will tell you your future, your past, and your present.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been doing that then?
Quite a long time. Quite a few years now. You know, about 15 years now. I've been in this. Yeah. And yes,
you started in Ghana, did you?
Oh yes, in Ghana. That's
okay.
right.
And so, describe how does it work for people? You say you can tell people's
that's right
future.
Yes.
Their
present and their past.
All right. So, how did you get the gift?
It was a gift that was given to me by God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a gift that was given to me by God, and it's one of the gifts that has helped many and transformed many lives. So
texts are coming in fast and thick.
Yeah.
A question. I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get that back. Okay. Text one. So, they wanted to ask. Is he a Christian? And what denomination does he belong to? Where is his church? So how would you answer that?
Where is my church?
You're a Christian.
I'm a Christian. Yes, I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and my church is in Oak Kent Road. It's not a church. I don't really call it a church because nowadays, you see, in our time, churches has become like a social club where people go there and gossip and fight and do all sort of things. So I normally don't call my place a church. I call it a place of worship. You know, is a place of worship. Do you understand? And it's a prayer camp. It's a place where we do a whole lot of things. We do a lot of spiritual things.
Okay.
I mean, people come with all sort of problems. People come with, marital problems, immigration problems. People come with, I mean, sickness, all kind of sickness, and then
You're live on Genesis. You're live.
Hi, well, can I ask a question?
Yeah, you sure you can.
I'd like to ask him, you see, he calls his place worship, yeah?
Hold on, let me get
And
that.
he's a Christian man, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you fit in a place of worship into Christianity, knowing that God said you're not to worship him?
Oh, so you're saying that I'd like to repeat the question one more time so we can get it hear it clear.
He said he don't like to call his place a church. He likes to call it a place of worship.
Yeah.
But it strictly says in the Bible not to worship anybody or anything.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and God is in you, and you will find yourself to God. Basically, a quick breakdown, and I understand it. I'm not gonna go into no nicer terms or anything.
yes,
okay.
it says not to worship.
Thank you for that caller.
Yes, God bless you. Yeah, that caller, thank you. It says not to worship any other God except the only one God, and that's the kind of God we're worshiping there. I'm only saying that I don't call it a church because when you say church can be anything, and in the Bible, when you read the Bible, you study the Bible, the Bible don't.
It's working. It's working.
The Bible don't really talk about church. It talk about place of worship.
Okay.
Right now, people think that it is only church that you can worship God, which is wrong. You can actually worship God even in your room.
In your room.
Worship God in your bedroom, wherever you are. So because of that, a lot of people have it in their mind that if I don't go to church, then it means I'm not worshiping God or I'm not doing the right thing. But it is wrong. It is not only in church. Somebody can be in their office and worship. Somebody can be anywhere. Did you understand?
Yeah, yes.
So it is not just being in what do you call it?
Building.
Being in the building, then you know that yes, I'm worshiping. So it's that is what it is, Wherever you are, you can worship.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you there, caller?
Yeah, I'm there. What I was saying is, though, it says in the Bible not to worship anything.
Not to worship anything, only the true God. Only God. Not worship any other gods. Idols. That is what it means. Doesn't mean that I don't worship God. The Bible clearly says that we should worship our God, our Lord, and our Maker. We should give him all praise. When you read the Bible says that enter into his gate with thanksgiving, with praise. So when the Bible says that not to worship, is trying to say not to worship any other idol or any other gods, but except the true one God. That's right.
Do you get that, caller?
Yeah, and now I got another question for this one God. How can we ever have a spiritual belief system believing that there is only one God, knowing that there has to be a woman for anything to be created?
Yeah, I think we're callers.
A woman and a man.
Yeah. Do you get that?
I don't get it.
No. All right.
Like, so they say, okay, only worship one God, right? Only worship one God. There's only one main benefactor in this thing, yeah? But science and everything else will prove to you, yeah, in any instance, yeah, you have to have a female particle to make a male. Same way you have to have a male to make a female. So then how can I believe in a system that's only telling me to worship one man, and then at the same time tell me to worship the Son of God, who was created by the Council of Nicaea?
Yeah, it was created.
Okay, so if I'm getting you right, what is your main question here?
My main question: how can we believe this thing that is telling us this is the right way, but also shows us the wrong way at the same time.
How does it show you the wrong way? If you say the wrong way,
Because it tells us, one, there's only one main creator,
that's right.
and that can't be so. Yeah. It tells us to only worship God, but then to praise the Son of God. But then at the same time, the person that we praise as the Son of God was created by the Council of Nicaea.
How do you know that? Where did you learn that from?
It's documented facts.
Really? I need to see that fact.
Yeah.
I need to see that. But that is not what
Bro,
I know.
you got Google.
No.
Put on your smartphone.
You know, one thing I've come to realize is that everybody is trying to bring out their fact. Everybody's trying to put out there what they think or what they know. But there is only one manual that tells the whole story. And that
manual was the same person that created the Book of Demons.
Sorry?
The same book that you tell us to go back to read was created by the same man that plagiarized. Let me correct that. It was plagiarized, yeah, by a man that wrote the Book of Demons. So how can you really follow that book and think that it's the right thing to follow?
I think you've got it all wrong. When you have time, I will put my address. When you come, I will teach you a lot of things about what you want to know. You know, it's quite unfortunate I didn't get here on time, and I don't have the whole time to explain this. It's a whole lecture on its own. You know, it's going to take me more than 2 hours to get you into a full understanding of what this whole thing is about. You know, a lot of people have missed the point of Christianity, and that is one of my problems. I'm a spiritual man. I do a lot of spiritual work. I do a lot of spiritual things. I mean, you know, but a lot of people have misquoted this Christianity, and they, you know, because people are putting all sort of explanation out there. You know, so if you find time to come, I will really have time for you. I mean, there was a man in Manchester who didn't understand a lot of things about Christianity. You know, for years, for about almost 40 years, he never wanted to believe anything. But then one day I sat him down, and I spent only 1 hour 30 minutes. And by the time he woke up, by the time he went away, he was satisfied. He understood everything, because I will go deep and tell you a lot of things. You know, I didn't get here on time. I wish I could go deep and explain a lot of things to you. You know, but don't worry.
Yeah, cool. What we're going to do
Tuesday, I'll be. Tuesday.
If you call in, call out. I'll tell you what you could do. You call in Tuesday, yeah? Again. 7 what time? 7 o'clock?
7 to 9.
Yeah, you have more, and with the same questions, right? And you can have more time to go into it. It's very interesting. So don't forget, on Tuesday, between 7 and 9 on Genesis Radio, the prophet will be here, and he will have more time to, and you will have more time as well to put your point over. Yeah, enough respect for that.
Bless you so much.
Bless up. Yeah. We've only. Thank you. Right, folks. So just a little introduction there for you. The time is now 5:52. Now, I think what the caller was trying to say, that most of the ideas that's floating about today is that the church began as a plagiarization from Council of Nicaea, which is in Rome. The Greeks, it was African in the beginning.
Yes.
And Africans, there wasn't a literal man called Jesus that died on a cross. I mean, could you verify that? Do you think there was a literal man that actually died on a cross?
There was.
Really?
There was.
What, for our sins?
Yes, there was. But it's a very big, deep, you know,
subject. All right.
Subject.
Let's go into a better, easier subject. The things that the prophecy
Tuesday,
that you do.
I will go into it.
Yeah, man. Enough respect.
Yes.
But what about the spiritual work now? If we can easily on the works that we, you explain a bit about the spiritual work. Like somebody comes to you with an immigration problem.
Yes. You see, what it is there are a lot of people that are supposed to have their documents. They are supposed to have they're supposed to be married. They are supposed to have their healing. But you see, there are spirits. There are powers that rules.
You're live on Genesis.
Yeah, greetings, Heru.
Greetings, sir.
Yeah, greetings to the prophet there.
Yeah, man.
Blessings.
Yeah, because I know you ain't got much time, Heru, but you asked a pertinent question about the literal man. I was going to ask him that, but also, could you just answer quickly, does he think this man, as in the prophecy, is going to come back? Because, and if he does believe he's going to come back, how long does he think it's going to take? Because it's been quite a long time since he was crucified.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, for the prophecy to be fulfilled, what he wants, he hasn't gotten it. In the sense that he wants almost everybody to be safe. And now a lot of people are in sin. He will come. He will definitely come. It's going to be fulfilled. It will come. He will come. But it's just that I don't think the world itself is even ready for him. Do you understand? The world is not ready for him. If he comes today, I bet you most people will not make it to heaven. And until... Yes, go on.
So what is his criteria for... So what would be an ideal situation for him to come back, you think?
That one, we have to leave it for him in his own time. Because everybody is trying to prepare themselves. Now the question is, when you die today, where are you going? That's a very big question you need to ask. You are thinking of him coming. He can come at any time, but when you die today, where are you going? Are you prepared to meet him? Are you prepared for him? Are you prepared for the next world you're going to go into? Do you know where you're going to be? Or do you think once you die, that is it? There is no other life anywhere. So we have to prepare our heart for him. He has said it, that he will come. We just have to prepare our heart.
Okay, I look into it. One more quick question. One more quick question, Heru.
Yeah.
If the prophet had other people in his family who didn't really believe in Christianity, say one of them wanted to go to Muslim, would he allow that person, say like it was his daughter or son, would they allow them to actually
become Muslim,
worship another religion?
It's a good question. I think I normally get this question a lot. What it is I have grown up to believe in Christianity. Now I don't know much about Muslims, or let me say the religion. I will never discriminate. I will never disrespect any religion. Take this from me. But I will always encourage my family to put themselves into what I believe in. I mean, look at the gift that I have. Not everybody has this gift. I mean,
this is what I'm thinking. I don't mean to cut you. This is what I would like to concentrate on, your gift, rather than doctrinal problems and whether you're a Christian. I think that's going to be an ongoing situation. But it's your gift that I'm really interested in. And if because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean that you can't have a gift. You know what I mean, caller? I think really... I heard that. I think we should spend time on what the prophet can do.
Yeah.
But he said he can... He said he can read you, He said he can tell...
I'm not going to...
He can call
I'm not going to not give him a chance because of his affiliation with a certain thing, like some of these other groups, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. So we know he's a Christian. Doesn't mean that he hasn't been endued with a gift. And I think we're more interested in what he can do with his gift rather than his own beliefs, his doctrinal belief system, and which can take us out, or will take it away from the fact that what he can do for people. If man can sort out your business for you, if he can heal you, if he can do all these things for you and make your life better, wouldn't you rather still deal with him, even if he's a Christian or not? What he
it doesn't matter. Where he comes from, mate.
That's right. You know what I mean?
I've had Muslims coming to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. The last miracle that I did was the Lord used me to heal somebody who has cancer. The person was a Muslim. I have Jewish coming to me. I have Hindus coming to me. I don't discriminate religion.
Okay,
my gift is not only for Christians. I don't believe in that.
Okay.
Once it's a gift, it's a gift.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The woman that had a cancer, she was a Muslim. The husband came to me crying. The husband is a very wealthy man. They've bought a time came the husband was buying one pill for almost £5,000 just to bring the cancer down. A pill. And this pill was supposed to be consumed just once a day, and it was £5,000. They spent all the money. The husband had, he has the money, but when they came to me, I said to the woman, this cancer is not a normal cancer. Somebody bought it for you. It's a spiritual thing.
Okay, yeah.
Most sickness are spiritual sickness.
That's right.
But people think it's physical.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I called the lady. I did spiritual direction. I gave her what she should use. I told her what she should do. And last Friday, D was in my place of worship where I worship. I have hundreds of people who come and they come and I help them. The lady came very strong. Doctors cannot believe what has happened up to now. So and guess what? This is a Muslim. I won't say, oh, I'm a Christian, you're Muslim, so I'm not going to look after you. No.
That's right.
The gift is there to help the world.
That's right. But I think that's what we're more interested in. I know people have questions on that. Yeah, go on. I know. Go on, caller.
I know you got much time, but give thanks and I'll listen out for the bread.
Man, Tuesday. Tune into this show Tuesday between 7 and 9, bruv. Yeah?
Yeah, give thanks, bro.
Enough respect. Bless up. Yeah, we're coming to the end of our show. It's weird. We're done. So don't forget to tune in Tuesday between.
Let's take the last call.
Last call quickly because we got. Okay, wait. Okay, cool. Wait. Come on. Go ahead, caller, quickly. Oh, sorry about that. We're finished. Press the wrong button. In any case, we look forward to having Tuesday between hours. Yeah, go on, caller. Last call. Go on, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello, is this Pastor?
Yes.
Yes, Pastor is here.
Good evening, Pastor. I'm just calling for you to give me some prayers.
Okay, let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for this caller. I pray, oh God, open a great door for him. Whatever the enemy is planning against his life, I come against it by the blood of Jesus. Any demonic power that will try to attack you, I stop it in Jesus' name. Say amen.
Amen.
My brother, are you a believer?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, listen, have time and come and see me, because as I was praying for you, the Lord opened my eyes and I saw that somebody is planning to do you evil at your workplace. I don't know, but do you work like a construction? Do you do construction?
Yes, I do, sir.
You do construction?
I'm
hearing the name. I'm hearing the name, and the Lord is telling me that is your name. Please, have you heard any name like Michael?
Oh, yeah, that's my name.
Michael is your name. Who is Smith? I'm hearing Michael Smith. Who is Michael Smith?
Yeah, Smith, that's me.
That's you. Name. Now listen to me. If you are Michael Smith, the Lord is telling me the reason why in 2009 they killed your mother, I don't know. They killed your mother in the year of 2009 with a particular sickness, and now they are trying to do the same thing to you. And if we don't pray, the Lord is telling me at the month of July they will do something to destroy your life. Now there's a place you are working as a construction. There's a manager that you are there with by the name of Jason. Do you know the name of your manager?
Yeah, I do.
What's the name of your manager? Jason. Listen to me, come and see me, because what I'm seeing is too big. You are married to a woman by the name of Sarah. I'm seeing a woman, and I'm seeing two kids. I'm seeing two kids. Are you married, my brother?
I'm married, yeah, and I have two kids.
Jesus.
My wife is Sarah.
Your wife is Sarah. Please, find time and come. Yeah.
Where can I locate you, sir? Because you're really like.
Yeah, where you can locate me, I will put my address. I'm in Old Kent Road. In fact, I'm meeting tonight at 6:30 p.m. I'm in Old Kent Road. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Have they tried to possess your house in this country?
Yeah, they tried many times.
Do you have a court hearing very soon?
Yeah, in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time, my God, I see you losing the court. I see you losing the case, and they will take all your houses. Come and see me. Come and see me, because the judge that will be handling your case, I don't know if you know the name of the judge, but the judge that will be handling your case, I'm seeing Mr. Williams Clark.
Oh, man. Wow.
But your lawyer will make a big mistake. I'm seeing your lawyer is going to make a big mistake. Your lawyer is called Francis is a Nigerian man. I'm seeing the lawyer right now. He's going to make a big mistake. Come and see me. I will show you what to do for you to win your case, my brother.
Okay, Pastor.
You can take my number if you want. My number is 074 54 2014. Call me after here. I will give you some spiritual direction for you to win your case.
Okay, Pastor.
Because if you don't take care, I'm hearing the Lord is telling me what happened to you last month. It will happen to you this month. Last month, the Lord is telling me you had a terrible accident and you nearly died on the motorway. Did anything like that happen?
Yeah, I did.
You had an accident.
Yeah.
My God, come and see me. They are planning the same thing next month. My number again is 074 54 200014. Call me. I will tell you where I meet. Come and let me give you some spiritual direction, and the Lord will see you through. God bless you.
Amen. Bless you. Bye.
Okay, right. So, folks, we've come to the end of our show.
Thank you.
And we're going to hand it over to DJ. Next DJ. You know what? Yeah. My mind is gone. My mind is real. I know. It's a man I know for years, you know. He's not changed his name, have you? You want to come and set up? Yeah. I'm just kind of confused there. My mind's been blown by what's just been happening here, folks. But we're going to be here on Tuesday again. Oh God, yeah, I'm really confused. Going here, Riggs, DJ Riggs, of course. Yes, DJ Riggs are coming. Going to take you through his beautiful music. I know DJ Riggs got some classical, proper music. He knows how to, woo you, and you know what I mean. The phone's going mad here, But okay, I'm gonna hand you over to DJ Riggs. And enough respect, and I'll see you very soon on Tuesday. On Monday morning, I'll be here, right willing, to continue our our endeavour to understand things. I'm trying to get, but this phone's going bloody mad. Anyway, this is Heru saying, "I am out."
Mikey Dunn, Saturday's Mix Up on Genesis Radio from London straight to Birmingham.